Neon lights snake like blood veins in the urban steel jungle, the roaring traffic is mixed with the pungent exhaust smell, and the night wind stirs up the rancid smell of garbage on the streets. Tang Tian wore a shabby grey robe and thousand-layer cloth shoes, and slowly walked into the bustling whirlpool called Lindu City. After living in seclusion on the top of the mountain for thousands of years, he originally thought that the reincarnation of heaven had its own destiny, but he did not expect that the changes in the spiritual energy recovery would sweep across like wild waves, forcing him, the reclusive immortal, to have to go down the mountain. The faint residue of spiritual energy in the air reminded him like a needle prick. This mortal world is no longer the exhausted wasteland of the past. Cultivation families compete secretly, hidden masters are dormant in high-rise buildings, and resources such as elixirs and spiritual stones have become the prey of their bloody struggle. The weak will eat the strong, and whoever controls the spiritual veins will dominate this glorious urban abyss. In the street corners and alleys, the sudden burst of spiritual pressure exploded like thunder, the street lamp glass shattered and scattered, and the screaming passers-by scattered like a swarm of ants. Two figures clashed in the night, one fat and one thin, both cultivators in the middle stage of foundation building. The fat man squeezed the fire talisman with his hand, and the red flames rushed towards the opponent like a tornado. The air was scorching and distorted, and the burning smell hit his nostrils. The thin man sneered, and stepped on Insha's steps. The evil wind of howling ghosts and wolves swept across, and the stone tiles on the ground were cracked every inch. The onlookers were trembling, and someone whispered, "It's those dog-eating dog fights from those cultivating immortal families again." In the dispute over the spiritual stone mines, mortals are caught in the middle, and their lives are as cheap as grass. Boom! The flames and dark wind suddenly stagnated, like falling into a mire. The fat man's eyes widened with copper bells, sweating like rain, and the fire talisman in his mouth turned into paper ash and flew away. What the hell is this? Why can't my spiritual fire move? The thin man's face turned pale, and his knees softened as if being crushed by a giant hand. He knelt down and vomited blood. Impossible. Suppression at the peak of foundation establishment. You, who are you? The spiritual power of the two people was like being stripped away, and they were exhausted in an instant. They collapsed on the ground and twitched, and howled like beasts. The passers-by around were dumbfounded, and a middle-aged woman trembled. "Oh my God, that beggar-looking guy. He didn't even raise his hand, and he killed two immortal cultivators." Mushue was rushing from the alley. She was wearing a black windbreaker covering her slim figure. Her pretty face was pale and her cherry lips were biting tightly. As the daughter of the Mu Chamber of Commerce, her family controlled half of Jiangqing's spiritual stone trade, but Lin Fan's ambitious rivals were closing in on her. Lin Fan is relying on a hidden master, and annexation is imminent. She originally came to ask for help tonight, but she ran into a bloody battle on the street. Seeing Tang Tian calmly resolve the fight, her beautiful eyes suddenly widened, and her heart was shocked. This beggar, no, he is an immortal. He easily destroyed two major foundations without any fluctuations in spiritual power, at least it is above the golden elixir. She ignored her manners and knelt down in front of Tang Tian, her fragrant shoulders trembling. "Master Immortal, help me. Mushue, please help the Immortal Master to help the Mu's Chamber of Commerce. That bitch Lin Fan wants to take over my family's foundation, so he promises to be rewarded with spiritual stone pills." Before he finished speaking, there was a roar of the luxury car engine, and the black-stretched Lincoln stopped like a beast. The car door opened. Lin Fan was in a straight suit with a playful sneer on his lips. Behind him were more than 10 strong men, all of whom were guards at the peak of Qi refining. They held spiritual weapons that glowed faintly. He glanced at Mushue who was begging on the ground, his eyes fell on the grey-robed beggar, and he burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha, Miss Mu, what a noble and proud daughter of heaven, now she is kneeling at the feet of a beggar on the street begging for mercy. Look at this beggar, his clothes are ragged and covered in dirt, he must have crawled out of the garbage, right? Mu Shui, are you out of your mind? Are you worthy of intervening in the feud between our Lin Mu family?" Tang Tian frowned slightly, but without stopping, he could already feel the spiritual network intertwining around him. These two people are just pawns, and the forces of the Chamber of Commerce behind them are fighting secretly. He had no intention of intervening, and all the grudges in this world were like dust. However, the aftermath of the fire talisman swept towards the children on the roadside, and a hint of impatience flashed in his eyes. With a flick of his finger, a wisp of invisible immortal power shot out quietly like a thread, straight into the core of the battlefield. Lin Fan's words were like a knife, and the guards laughed loudly. A strong man spat, "The young master is right, this beggar looks like a garbage collector and touches porcelain." Mu Shue's pretty face turned red, and she gritted her teeth. "Lin Fan, you are shameless. How can you and other mice understand the magic power of an immortal master?" She was desperate. The family was at the end of its rope. Without help, the Chamber of Commerce would change hands tomorrow, and she would become a prisoner. Passers-by whispered, some pitied Mushue, while others laughed at the beggar Tang Tian. "Oh, this old beggar is going to be in trouble. Master Lin's power is going sideways in Jiangqing." Tang Tian stood with his hands behind his hands, watching the farce with cold eyes. Lin Fan's ridicule was like the buzzing of mosquitoes and flies. How could he, the 1,000-year-old immortal, care about the clamor of ants? But Mu Shue's begging touched the ambition he had at the beginning of his comeback. The spiritual energy was revived, and he needed resources to build a spiritual formation before he could regain control of the way of heaven. The corners of his lips raised slightly, and he spoke slowly, his voice like the cold wind in the sky. "Beggars. Hey, you ordinary people have the vision of a frog at the bottom of a well." Mu Shue's heart was filled with despair, her beautiful eyes were closed, the wind was whistling in her ears, but she suddenly felt warm all over her body. Tang Tian's eyes condensed, and he held his right hand empty. The invisible fairyland quietly unfolded, covering the whole place like a boundless giant net. Buzz, the guards' movements suddenly froze, and the spiritual weapon fell from their hands and fell to the ground, making a crisp and shattering sound. Their faces turned from red to purple, their blood vessels bulged, and they screamed in agony. "Ah! My spiritual power is losing. My body can't move." A strong man's eyes widened, his pupils bloodshot. "There's a ghost, there's a ghost. This beggar, he crushed our Dantian." Lin Fan's face suddenly changed from mocking to horrified, and he took a few steps back, his legs were as soft as mud. "You? Who are you, Jin Dan?" "No, it's impossible, there is no master like this in Jiangqing." Lin Fan was furious when he heard this, waved his hand and shouted, "Hit me! Destroy this arrogant beggar, and let Mu Shue see what reality is." More than 10 guards rushed towards him with a ferocious smile, their spiritual weapons buzzing, swords and sword shadows mixed with fireballs and ice arrows, striking at Tang Tian's vital parts. The spiritual energy in the air was violent, heat waves mixed with coldness, and passers-by screamed and backed away. It's over, Master Lin is serious, this beggar is dead." The passers-by around were stunned, and a young girl screamed, "Oh my God, those strong men seem to have been twisted by invisible hands, and their spiritual energy was sucked dry. That beggar, he didn't even move his fingers." The middle-aged woman's knees went weak and she murmured, "Immortal, Your Majesty the Immortal Fan." Mu Shui opened her eyes, with Tang Tian's indifferent figure reflected in her beautiful eyes. Tears welled up in her eyes, and her voice trembled like fallen leaves in the wind. "The power of the Immortal Lord. Mu Shui has blind eyes and cannot see Mount Tai. I beg the Immortal Lord to take him in, and Mu will spend all his wealth in exchange for a chance of survival." Tang Tian glanced at the limp Lin Fan and others, with contempt like a sword hanging from the sky. "Lin Faner and others are using their power to bully others, and your family's resources are favored by this immortal." Lin Fan forced himself to stand up, with cold sweat dripping from his forehead, and his sinister eyes flashed. "Boy, you are cruel. But Jiang Qing, how can you, a useless loser, disrupt the situation in the immortal cultivation circle? When my ancestor comes out of seclusion, you will die without a burial place. He secretly crushed the jade talisman to summon the family's golden elixir master, and said with a sinister smile, "This beggar, if you dare to ruin my good deeds, you will not be able to survive." When Tang Tian heard this, he chuckled, with a voice as loud as a bell, "Oath of heaven, if you, Mushue, are sincere, you can swear a soul oath to be loyal to me forever, in exchange for full support from resources. Anyone who violates this will be thrown away." When Mushue heard this, his body froze, and hesitation flashed across his beautiful eyes. Once the oath was signed, her life and death depended on Tang Tian's thoughts, and the family's honor and disgrace, life and death, all depended on it. But Lin Fan's sinister smile became even louder, and a dark light shone all over his body, as if a master was coming. The spiritual pressure in the air is getting thicker, and dangers are everywhere. The spiritual pressure in the air was like a mountain collapsing, the aura of golden elixir was coming like a turbulent wave, the street lights were buzzing and trembling, broken glass shards jingled in the night wind, and the nostrils of passers-by were filled with the mixed stench of scorched earth and blood. Lin Fan's sinister smile turned into ecstasy. He pushed himself up, pointed at Tang Tian and smiled ferociously, "Here you come. The ancestor's golden elixir pressure will kill you, a beggar." Mushue's pretty face turned pale, her windbreaker soaked with sweat, her body trembling like a candle in the wind as she knelt, despair in her beautiful eyes like ink flooding. "Immortal Lord. The golden elixir is at its peak, the Mu family is unstoppable, Lin Fan has colluded with the old monster of the Li family, we are finished." In the shadows in the distance, a skinny old man came in the wind, wearing a black robe. The clouds and mist were billowing under his feet. The golden elixir around him was as dazzling as the sun. The stone bricks on the ground exploded inch by inch, and cracks spread like spider webs. The passers-by screamed and scattered, and a strong man was swept away by the aftermath. He spurted blood and flew several feet away. He smashed the trash can on the roadside and scattered rotten fruit peels and filth. "Monster. The old monster who cultivates immortality is here, and the beggar will be crushed into a pulp." The old man's eyes were like lightning, and he locked Tang Tian. He snorted like thunder, "Boy, are you ruining my Li family's good deeds? You will die." He pointed with his finger, and the golden light was like an arrow, and the air tore out a harsh scream, which pierced Tang Tian's eyebrows. Mushue closed her eyes and waited for death, her heart was like a knife, the wind was whistling in her ears, but she suddenly heard Tang Tian smile lightly, "In the early stage of the golden elixir, you dare to be reckless." His eyes flashed slightly, and the invisible fairyland spread out again, like a boundless black hole swallowing the golden light. The arrow suddenly twisted in mid-air, making a wail of broken metal, and instantly turned into gold powder and scattered. The old man's pupils shrank suddenly, his face turned from pride to shock, his spiritual power was like a chasm in the sky, and there was a dull pain in his dantian. This immortal realm suppression. The power of the nascent soul. You are the hidden immortal lord. His steps staggered, the clouds collapsed, and his knees weakened and he almost fell to his knees. The strong men around him widened their eyes and murmured in a trembling voice, "Ancestor." Ancestor was suppressed by that beggar's eyes. "Impossible, the golden elixir peak can't move." Mu Shuiyu clenched her hands and looked at Tang Tian with tearful eyes. The posture of the immortal lord was like a mountain weighing down on the top of the mountain. There was a battle between heaven and man in her heart. Will the structure of the Chamber of Commerce be turned upside down in just one thought? In the shadow of a tall building in the distance, a golden elixir aura quietly approached. Lin Fan smiled ferociously, "Beggar, die." Tang Tian's eyes flashed slightly, and the corners of his mouth deepened. The city's immortal cultivation bureau was about to be turbulent with a single oath. Mushue opened her eyes, tears glistening in her beautiful eyes, reflecting Tang Tian's figure with his hands behind his back, like a god. His voice trembled and wept, "The immortal god is mighty, Mushue swears to be loyal to you to the death." She pressed her jade hand on her forehead, the power of her soul gushed out, and she recited the oath of heaven, I, Mushue, swear with my soul, I will follow Tang Tian forever. Celestial Immortal, please worship the Mu clan, and those who violate it will lose their souls. After the oath was fulfilled, a golden light fell from the sky and penetrated into the center of her eyebrows. Pain flashed across her pretty face, but she stood up and bowed, Immortal Master, please move to the Mu clan's headquarters. Lin Fan has been defeated, and the resources of the Chamber of Commerce are at the disposal of the Celestial Immortal. Lin Fan's face turned livid, turning from ecstasy to death, and his legs were as weak as mud. Old ancestrally, you, how are you? The old man used his spiritual power, gritted his teeth and roared, boy, this revenge will be recorded by the Li family. The figure turned into an afterimage and fled, leaving a wisp of burnt elixir smell in the night sky. Passers-by were dumbfounded, and a girl covered her mouth and screamed, oh my God, that old monster has escaped. The beggar stared so hard that the master of the golden elixir pissed his pants and ran away. The middle-aged woman clasped her hands together and kowtowed, God, God, please forgive me. Tang Tian nodded, wearing grey robe and hunting shoes, and followed Mushue into the car. Lin Fan sat paralyzed on the street, his eyes as sinister as snakes, and he smiled forcefully on the surface, Immortal. Immortal Lord, Lin will admit defeat in this matter, and I will report back to my house. But in his heart, he secretly pinched the jade talisman and sent a message for more reinforcements. The leader of the Jiangqing Immortal Cultivation Alliance, the person who transforms into a god and lurks, you will be shattered to pieces. The elevator leads directly to the conference hall on the top floor. The spacious hall is magnificent. On both sides of the long table are senior executives of the Chamber of Commerce in suits and leather shoes. They are all the core members of Mushi. The nose is filled with the rich aroma of coffee and leather. Lin Fan had arrived first and summoned more than 20 party members, strong bodyguards and sinister managers. They were all in the late stage of qi refining, holding spiritual talismans and spiritual weapons, and a dark glow appeared around their bodies. When he saw Tang Tian's grey-robed beggar enter the hall, he burst into laughter, his voice like firecrackers exploding, ha ha ha, Miss Muda, you are really good. Bring a beggar who picks up garbage to the headquarters. Look at this look, with cloth shoes and tattered robes, and a mouth full of earthy smell. When did the Jiangqing Chamber of Commerce fall into this state? The status of a beggar director. The party members roared with laughter, and a fat manager shouted, get out of here, beggar. How can the Mu family be tainted by a waste like you? A bodyguard stepped forward with a grim smile, and the spirit knife buzzed, I'll chop you up, young master, do you? Mushue's pretty face turned red and she bit her lips and said, shut up. This is Tang Tianxian, the mighty golden elixir. You are so short-sighted. The senior officials looked at each other. An old man shook his head and sighed, Miss, the family is in crisis. We need real power. This beggar has no power. How can he resist the Lin family? Lin Fan's sinister smile grew louder and he clapped his hands on the table and stood up, Mushue, are you mentally retarded? Who knows about me in Jiangqing's immortal circle? The Lin family is relying on the Li family's golden pill. This beggar can't even touch the threshold. Brothers, surround him and let him know what the iron law of the Chamber of Commerce is. More than 20 people stood up and surrounded him, the fire and ice gleamed, the air in the hall suddenly became hot and distorted, and the coffee cup splattered like a tide, you useless beggar, kneel down and lick your shoes. Tang Tian stood with his hands behind his hands, scanning with cold eyes, the laughter in the hall was like the chirping of insects. Why is he, the 1,000-year-old immortal, afraid of ants? The corners of his lips were slightly raised, and his voice was as calm as an ancient well, Lin Fan, I colluded with the old monster of the Li family, secretly swallowed the Mu family's spiritual stone veins, and sent out the aftermath of the jade talisman. I have already sensed the aftermath of the jade talisman. In your party's feather spirit bag, the black evidence of the Li family's elixirs are all here. With a tap of his finger, the jade talisman in Lin Fan's arms suddenly exploded, and the fragments were scattered, revealing a stack of blood-written contracts and several red elixirs. The scent of elixirs hit his nostrils, and the hall suddenly fell silent. At the headquarters of the Mu Chamber of Commerce, the towering glass building looks like a steel behemoth. Neon lights reflect the night sky. There are many luxury cars in front of the door. The air is filled with the luxurious smell of high-end perfume and cigars. The crystal chandeliers in the hall are bright, and the carpet is as thick and soft as clouds, but there are faint veins of the spiritual array flickering, gathering traces of spiritual energy. Mu Xue led Tang Tian in. The guard saw her kneeling in embarrassment and whispered, "What's wrong with the eldest lady? Who is the beggar behind you? Covered in dirt and smelly, get out." Lin Fan took a few steps back and bumped into the wall. The veins on his forehead popped out, but he felt invisible immortal power pressing down on him like a huge mountain. His knees clicked, and he knelt down. His forehead hit the floor with a muffled sound, "Immortal. Immortal Lord, please forgive me." Lin Fan knows his mistake. When the party members saw this, their expressions changed from mocking to fear, and they knelt down one after another. One strong man's teeth chattered, "The Immortal Lord is so powerful, his bones are going to break. We made a mistake with Mr. Lin." Mu Xueying stepped forward and handed over the gold contract with her jade hand, her voice trembling softly, "Immortal Lord, Mu's resources are all available, 100,000 tons of spiritual stones, hundreds of blood spirit pills, full power of the mineral veins. Please sign it for the protection of the Immortal Lord." Tang Tianxian's power was drawn, the gold scroll flashed with blood, and the contract was completed. The oath between her eyebrows was brighter than ever, and she was as loyal as iron. The hall shook, Tang Tian's eyes narrowed, and the immortal realm was fully opened, covering the entire place like a boundless sky net. The souls of Lin Fan's party members trembled, and they couldn't help but recite an oath, "We swear to be loyal to Tang Tianxian to the death, otherwise our souls will be driven to pieces." More than 20 streaks of golden light penetrated their eyebrows. Their faces were distorted and they screamed in pain, but they stood up and kowtowed, "Master, Master." Lin Fan knelt down and his face was as white as paper. Biting his teeth and bleeding, "The Immortal Lord. Lin is convinced." The situation of the Chamber of Commerce was reversed in an instant. The senior executives were dumbfounded, and an old man burst into tears, "The world is turned upside down. Beggar. No, the Immortal Lord's words can decide the world." The fat manager prostrates, "The Immortal Lord has calculated and revealed the conspiracy, and I, Mu, are reborn." Tang Tian waved his sleeves and put the spirit stone elixir into the storage ring. The fragrance of the elixir entered his nose, and his 1,000-year-old wounds ached faintly. He sat cross-legged at the head of the long table, closed his eyes and practiced his martial arts. Immortal power seeped into his meridians like silk threads, his flesh and blood sizzled, his injuries had recovered by 30%, and his whole body was gleaming with spiritual brilliance. The senior officials did not dare to express their anger. Mu Xue knelt beside him, his fragrant shoulders trembling slightly, and his pretty face worshipped, "The Immortal Lord will heal the wounds, Mu Xue will protect you." Lin Fan kowtowed on the surface, but secretly used secret methods in his heart. A hidden message flashed between his eyebrows, "Leader of the Immortal Cultivation Alliance, come to the Mu clan headquarters quickly. The pressure of this son's nascent soul needs to be suppressed by the gods." Lin Fan's face turned pale and he was sweating like rain. He denied with a trembling voice, "You are talking nonsense. This is a false accusation." The gang members' eyes widened. A bodyguard picked up the elixir and his pupils shrank, "Young Master Lin, this is the Li family's blood elixir, specially used for foundation building. Did you really sell the Mu's veins for elixirs?" Fat Sutra Li's legs softened and he knelt down, his voice trembling, "Oh my God, Lin Fan, you traitor. The mineral vein is the lifeblood of my Mu family, he colluded with outsiders to betray the country. The senior officials roared, "Beast!" Lin Fan kneels down. Mu Shue's beautiful eyes sparkled, and she shouted, "The immortal eyes can see everything." Tang Tian opened his eyes, noticed the strange movement, and sneered silently. This Lin Fan ant counterattack is about to set off a turmoil in the world of immortality. He stood up in grey robe and said, "Mu Shue, prepare the blueprint of the spiritual formation. I will enter the campus tomorrow to activate the ancient ruins." Mu Shue stood up and whispered in a voice, "I obey, immortal lord." The night wind outside the hall roared, the aura of the tall building in the distance soared into the sky. Lin Fan's counterattack was undercurrent. Jiangqing Immortality Bureau was about to be bloody. Lin Fan knelt down and his face suddenly changed, his vicious eyes flashed with ecstasy. He jumped up suddenly, his suit tore to reveal a blood jade pendant, and he was full of aura. "Ha ha ha, Tang Tian. Do you think the oath can bind me? The leader of the Immortal Cultivation Alliance has arrived, and hundreds of masters from the Lin family, Li family, and Zhao family are here to get you. Damn it!" After saying this, hundreds of figures crowded into the elevator entrance. The first three were old monsters in the middle stage of the golden elixir. They were hunting in black robes, with spiritual flames rolling around them like a sea of fire. Behind them, the chi refining and foundation building monks were holding spiritual swords and magic weapons. The lights of swords and shadows intertwined, and the air was filled with the premonition of a bloody battle of sulfur and rust. The leader of the Li family ancestors' skinny face was twisted, and his eyes were blazing with hatred. "Boy, last time the immortal realm suppressed me, tonight the leader of the Transformation God Alliance comes in person, you will die without a burial place." The Zhao family's Jindan smiled ferociously, "All the resources of the Mu family belong to us. This beggar in grey robes has stinky feet, he will be trampled to death like an insect." The faces of the senior executives were as white as paper. An old man knelt down with weak legs and his voice was as trembling as chaff. 3 golden elixirs, 100 masters, Mu's family is finished. Immortal Lord, you, run away. The fat manager screamed and backed away, knocking over the long table, coffee splashed everywhere, and the hot liquid made his skin sizzling. Legion of monsters. "Lin Fan, you beast, sell your clan for glory." Mu Shue's pretty face was pale, her delicate body under the windbreaker. Trembling, her beautiful eyes were full of despair. "The immortal lord is lurking in the form of a god, Mu Shue is powerless." Lin Fan's sworn members also showed panic on their faces, and a strong man's teeth chattered. "The leader's pressure, the Dantian is shattered, we can't hold on." The mockery turned to despair, the spiritual pressure was like a landslide and tsunami, the carpet burned into a black hole, the chandeliers shook and fell, and smashed to make a crisp crackling sound. Outside the conference hall, the night wind suddenly rose like a howling ghost, the glass curtain wall buzzed and trembled, and the lights on the top floor flickered on and off, as if the steel giant was about to collapse. The senior executives were still immersed in the shock of the immortal lord's power. The fat manager wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and murmured, "The immortal lord exposed the conspiracy with one finger," and Lin Fan's bitch finally fell. Before he finished speaking, the elevator in the lobby made a loud boom, the door panel twisted and exploded, and the debris poured down like a torrential rain, cutting through the air with a sharp whistle, and the pungent smell of burnt spiritual power instantly filled the nasal cavity. Tang Tian held the grey robe motionless with his hands behind his hands, his eyes were as indifferent as an ancient well, and the corners of his lips were raised slightly. "How dare you, an ant, interfere with my healing?" He slowly raised his right hand, and the invisible fairyland erupted like a black hole. His grey robe hunted around him, and his cloth shoes made no sound when he stepped on the ground, but the spiritual power of the whole place was stagnated. The huge axe of the protector was only an inch away from the top, but it felt like it was stuck in a quagmire. The axe blade made a metallic cry, and shattered into iron powder every inch. The strong man's eyes widened, his pupils reflected Tang Tian's stern face, and his throat rattled. What kind of power is this? The axe is broken." Why is my spiritual power like paper? Tang Tian's 5 fingers lightly pressed together, and the air clicked. He held the protector's head with one hand like an egg, and his immortal power penetrated his meridians like thousands of needles. The strong man's eyes bulged, blood spurted from his 7 orifices, and the cracking sound of his bones was like popcorn. Instantly, it turned into a mist of blood and exploded. The corpse fell to the ground and a deep pit was created. Blood splattered on the 4 walls, and the fishy smell rose into the sky. The whole place was dead silent. The ancestor of the Li family staggered, the color on his withered face faded, and his voice trembled like a fallen leaf in the wind. One pinch to explode the peak of foundation building. Immortal Master's magical power. You are really the nascent soul. The Zhao family's golden elixir retreated, the spiritual flame was extinguished, and his knees hit the ground with a muffled sound. Monster. The protector is like an insect. With a look in his eyes, our golden elixir also. Lin Fan's face was livid, with beads of sweat. Rolling down, his legs flopped and he knelt again. No. Impossible. Alliance leader, save me. Hundreds of masters' spiritual weapons fell together, their faces turned from pride to fear, and a young monk screamed, spirit swallowing in the immortal realm. My magic weapon, melted. The fireballs and ice arrows twisted and wailed in the immortal realm, turning into spiritual energy and haze that dissipated. A corner of the hall wall collapsed with a bang, and the night wind filled the room with the smell of gravel and dust. Tang Tianxian's realm was fully opened, like a heaven and earth net crushing him. With a wave of his grey robe, an invisible giant palm swept out. The air was torn with thunder and roar, and hundreds of figures were whirling like straw. The old Jindan monsters spurted blood and flew backwards, crashed through the glass curtain wall and fell into the night sky. Their screams echoed, nascent soul is suppressed, broken bones and tendons. The bodies of the foundation building monks exploded like fireworks, fragments of flesh and blood rained down, rivers of blood flowed on the ground, and Golu's bubbling and fishy smell filled his nose. The eyes of the senior executives widened, and an old man burst into tears, prostrate and kowtowed. The immortal lord is 1 against 100, his power is unparalleled. Mu family can be saved. The fat manager peed his pants, and the hot and wet smell filled the air. He murmured in a trembling voice, crush the protector, the golden elixir with his eyes, this beggar, no, a god. Mushua's beautiful eyes shone with tears, reflecting Tang Tian's clasped hands like a god descending to earth. She knelt down, her windbreaker slipped off her shoulders, and her voice was soft and sobbing, the immortal is invincible, Mushue will follow you forever. The senior officials knelt down one after another, and the long table was surrounded by darkness. Kowtows came like a flood, immortal, spare your life. Mu clan swears allegiance to the death. Lin Fan's gang members pledged deeper, and the strong man his nose was bleeding profusely, and he couldn't stand up. Master's divine power, slaves' brains have been wiped out. Tang Tian locked eyes with Lin Fan, using his divine power. Lin Fan's dantian was on fire, and he cried out in pain, ah, immortal master, spare your life. Lin Fan's full attack. Li Zhao and I jointly devoured the Mu's veins, here's the black evidence. He vomited blood and took out the storage bag, the blood contract elixirs were spilled, and the fragrance of elixirs hit his nose. The whole place went crazy, and the old man roared, the traitor exposes himself. The immortal master is calculating. Mu Shuejiao shouted, Lin Fan is guilty of death. Lin Fan's forehead was bleeding when he hit the ground, and his teeth were shattered. Immortal Lord, Lin completely surrendered. There is only one clue, the ancient cultivation elixir, Tian Yuan breaking the sky pill, which is hidden in the spiritual formation of the campus monuments. It is the key to becoming a god. My alliance leader wants to take it all. Tang Tian's eyes lit up, and he collected the contents of Lin Fan's bag in his sleeves. He snorted coldly, an ant knows the trick. Mu Shui kowtowed and became even more anxious. Immortal Lord, Mu Shui is willing to be the first disciple to teach the immortal method and transform Mu into an immortal sect. Tang Tian nodded, and the immortal pointed at the center of her eyebrows. The golden light penetrated, the foundation of Tianyin immortal Ju, circulate the spiritual energy, and build the foundation overnight. Mu Shui's pretty face was filled with spiritual radiance, her meridians were sizzling, and in the later stage of qi refining, it went straight to the foundation, and the fragrant sweat was steaming mixed with the fragrance of the elixir. She stood up and bowed, "Thank you, Master." Members of the Mu family, listen to the order, immediately set up a spiritual formation to worship the immortal. The senior executive stood up and moved as quickly as a military order. The fat manager's voice trembled, "Miss Sunmu." "No, Senior Sister Mu. The Chamber of Commerce has become an immortal sect and is #1 in Jiangqing." Tang Tian stood cross-legged, took out hundreds of blood elixirs from the storage ring, and swallowed 10 of them in one gulp. The elixir melted in his mouth, his spiritual power erupted like a volcano, his meridians expanded with a loud bang, his grey robe bulged like a ball, and his whole body was as dazzling as the scorching sun. Thousand-year-old injuries have been healed, and the realm has skyrocketed. The peak of nascent soul is approaching the transformation into a god. The spiritual power leaks out like a tsunami. The Mu family building shakes violently, the glass is shattered, and the ground cracks several feet deep. The lights of high-rise buildings in Jiangqing in the distance are swaying, and passers-by scream, "Earthquake." The aura of Mu family headquarters is soaring into the sky, gods are fighting. The hermits in the world of immortality are startled. He murmured, "The aura of the immortal lord. A great man has been born in Jiangqing, and he is about to transform into a god." The nostrils of everyone in the hall were filled with pure elixir fragrance and spiritual pressure. The senior officials couldn't get up. An old man clasped his hands together with trembling hands, the immortal lord swallowed the elixir, and his realm soared. "We have no eyesight, and beggars are the emperor of heaven." Mu Shui knelt down to serve, with beautiful eyes in admiration. Master is at the peak of his powers, and Mu Shui's body will be shattered to pieces. Lin Fan was completely paralyzed, his eyes turned from hatred to fear, and he kept kowtowing, "My master, Lin Fan will serve you forever." The whole audience was filled with admiration. Tang Tian stood up in grey robes, stepped on the blood-stained river with his cloth shoes, looked down at all living beings with his hands behind his hands, and his aura of solemnity was as if the sky was falling and the earth was falling. The senior executives had nosebleeds, and the fat manager shouted hoarsely, "Invincible. Immortal Lord is invincible." During the moment of release, Mu Shui's jade talisman buzzed, her pretty face changed, and she said urgently, "Master. The campus monuments have changed, the ancient spiritual formation's veins have awakened, and the spiritual energy has surged, attracting the remnants of the Li family and the leader to spy. Jiangqing University, the school belle Bai Ning has noticed it, please master." Hundreds of masters moved together, their spiritual power swept across like a violent wave, fireballs, ice arrows and thunder nets intertwined, the hall instantly turned into a battlefield, the walls were cracked, and the steel bars were exposed and twisted. Protector Lin Fan, a strong man at the peak of foundation building, took the lead to pounce. The light of his giant axe surged and struck Tang Tianxian directly, "Beggar, suffer death." The Li family ancestors' fingers were like hooks, and the golden elixir essence condensed into blood claws. He tore the air and let out a beast roar, shattered into 10,000 pieces. Outside the mushy building, the night fell like ink. The neon lights of Jiangqing trembled and flickered in the aftermath of spiritual pressure. The traffic on the viaduct in the distance was like a river of insects, and the piercing roar of the horn was faintly heard. The black-stretched Lincoln roared out of the underground garage, its tires grinding against the blood-stained asphalt road, making a sticky friction sound. A scorched black mark was left on the rear of the car, and the air was filled with the pungent smell of rust, blood, and burning rubber. Tang Tian sat in the back seat with his hands behind his back, his grey robe was like a dead night, and his cloth shoes made no sound when he stepped lightly on the carpet. His eyes locked on the outline of the campus in the distance through the car window, and he coldly snorted, "I will take the ancient spiritual array myself." His hands were tightly gripping the steering wheel, his knuckles were turning white, and his pretty face was full of admiration. Master personally marched, and the group of junior ants on campus have turned into dust. Mu's intelligence has been prepared. The ancient ruins on the back hill of Jiangqing University are the ruins of the immortal sect thousands of years ago, and the Tianyuan breaking pill is hidden in the core of the spiritual formation. Lin Fan has sent people to monitor it. Li Zhao's remnant party. Lin Fan slumped in the front row, his torn suit was stained with blood, and the blood jade pendant was dull. His teeth were chattering, and beads of sweat rolled down the bridge of his nose and sizzled on the dashboard. Master, Lin Fan personally led the sworn followers to block the leader's eyes and ears. The ancestor of the Li family was seriously injured and lurking. The Jin Dan of the Zhao family summoned loose cultivators to plot an encirclement and suppression. His voice was trembling, and his nose was filled with the burning smell of his dantian. Remembering the crushing of the immortal realm, he hit his knees with a muffled sound and kept kowtowing. Lin Fan's liver and brain are bruised, and he will fight to the death to resist the enemy. The motorcade speeds along the campus avenue, the shadows of the street lights are elongated and dancing like ghosts, the iron gate of Jiangqing University creaks and groans in the night wind, the lake in the campus sparkles and reflects the moon, the leaves of the ancient branches in the distant mountains are whirling, and the faint spiritual energy ripples and spreads. The air is mixed with the old smell of moist grass and decaying soil. Tang Tian waved his sleeved robe, and invisible immortal power enveloped everyone and sneaked in. The figure in grey robe floated like a ghost, and his cloth shoes left no trace on the grass. Mu Shui followed her delicate body and flashed an idea, and Lin Fan's followers dispersed and hid in the darkness. On the mountain path behind the campus, the stone steps are mossed, and the moonlight shines like silver frost in pieces. From a distance, the suppressed cries of girls and the taunting laughter of men can be heard, as well as the explosive buzzing sound mixed with the collision of spiritual powers. Deep in the shade, under a clear moon, Bai Ning's beautiful face was as pale as paper. The school belle's long dress was stained with blood and torn, revealing her snow-white shoulders with scratches. She knelt down and gasped. Her spiritual veins were faintly stirring in the late stage of qi refining, but she was trapped by the spiritual nets of 3 foundation establishment students. Ice arrows and fire whips swam around her like poisonous snakes. The whipping made the air tear and whistle, and the smell of burnt flesh hit her nostrils. Her beautiful eyes flashed with tears of despair, her silver teeth bit her lip and blood oozed. "You, young master of the Li family, why did you bully me to this point?" The aura of the campus monuments was inspired by my Bai Ning talent, and I don't have the resources to practice it. I won't let you all take it for yourself. The young master of the Li family, who is leading the charge, is at the peak of his foundation building. His face was twisted and grinning, and his gold-edged shirt was entangled with spiritual flames. He grabbed it with the spiritual hook of his fingers, and the flesh and blood on Bai Ning's shoulders rolled up, and blood spattered on the stone steps. Gulu bubbled up, "School beauty." "Ha! So what if you are gifted? No elixir, no spiritual stone, stuck in the bottleneck for 10 years in the later stage of qi refining, just waste. The veins of the ancient ruined spiritual array are awakened, and the Tianyuan pill has returned to the Li family. You dare to spy on me, cramp and skin." The female cultivator from the Zhao family next to her smiled sinisterly, and the spiritual whip under her pink skirt was like a snake. "Wufu Xiuxian. Kneel down and lick us, maybe we will spare your life and let you be a furnace bed warmer." The third casual cultivator rushed forward with a fierce smile, and the spiritual light in his giant palm surged, grabbing Bai Ning Tianling. "No matter how talented you are, I will crush your dantian and your spiritual roots will be destroyed." Bai Ning's delicate body curled up, her spirit net tightened like an iron hoop, her bones cracked, she screamed in despair. Her beautiful eyes reflected the 3 men's ferocious smiles. "No, the spirit array is a campus heritage. I, Bai Ning, would rather die than obey. The Li and Zhao families, you and other powerful children, use their power to bully others, and they will eventually be punished. Passing students watched from a distance, and whispered with pale faces, "The school bell is over, Master Li." At the peak of Foundation Building, Sister Zhao's spirit whip is invincible, but Bai Ning's talent is strong, but she has no resources. A girl covered her face and sobbed, the smell of blood was strong at the end of her nose, the bullying is too cruel, there is a hidden immortal cultivation circle on campus, mortals don't know it, the school beauty begs for mercy. The tide of ridicule, the despair of the whole audience, Bai Ning's spiritual veins withered inch by inch, the meridians were like fire, the fragrant sweat mixed with blood dripped down the long skirt, and the humidity was pungent. Tang Tianxian's figure in grey robe quietly appeared beside the tree line, his eyes swept across indifferently, and he sneered, "Ents compete for resources, bully gifted orphan girls, and cultivate immortals on campus. I am joking about it." Mu Shui's pretty face changed slightly, and she whispered, "Master, this female Bai Ning, the intelligence shows that the spiritual veins are purine attributes, and she is naturally compatible with the spiritual formation. She has no resources to waste, so she can help." Lin Fan's party members hid behind the tree, teeth clenched. Trembling, young master of the Li family, the ancestor's son, Zhao Nu is the daughter of the golden elixir, and the leader of the casual cultivator secretly secreted the elixir. Tang Tian stepped out with his hands behind his back, and the cloth shoes fell silently on the dead leaves. Young Master Li's eyes widened, and Tang Tian's grey-robed figure was reflected in his pupils like a god. His throat clucked, "Where did this beggar's grey-robed stinky feet come from? My spiritual hook. Why is it broken like paper? His spiritual power is frozen." Zhao Nu's spiritual whip rolled back on itself, the shadow of the whip twisted and wailed, and it hit her pink skirt and exploded into burnt black holes. Her flesh was sizzling and burning. She screamed and backed away, and her knees hit the stone with a muffled sound, "Monster." The look in her eyes the peak of Foundation Building is like a worm. "Bai Ning, who did you summon?" The giant palm of the casual cultivator hung stiffly, his bones cracked continuously, his face was ashen, and he was sweating like rain, suppressed the dantian. Broken, spiritual roots burned. Bai Ning raised her eyes, her tearful eyes reflected Tang Tian's cold hands, and her beautiful face was shocked as if struck by lightning. "You, the grey-robed immortal? Freeze the Foundation in an instant and save me from despair." The whole place was dead silent. The students' onlookers fell to their knees with weak legs. One boy had a bloody nose and his voice was trembling, "The grey-robed god." Mr. Li's hook was broken, and Sister Zhao set herself on fire. Is this nascent soul under pressure? The girls screamed and hugged each other, fragrant sweat was steaming and mixed with blood, the school beauty is saved. No beggar, God. Tang Tian waved his sleeves and robe, the fairyland receded like a tide, the spiritual net disintegrated into haze, Bai Ning's delicate body bounced up, her spiritual veins revived, and she knelt down, her long dress was stained with blood, and her voice was soft and weeping, "My benefactor is so powerful, Bai Ning is shattered into pieces to repay his kindness." At the campus monument, I noticed the spiritual energy veins, but I was unable to explore. Tang Tian glanced at her spiritual energy veins and snorted coldly, "Pure spirit body, top-grade talent, stuck in the bottleneck because there is no guidance. The spirit formation is the relic of the ancient immortal sect, Tian sect, and the core contains the Tian Yuan breaking sky pill, the key to becoming a god. Li Zhao is watching, and wants to take it all for himself. I will take it myself." Young Master Li and the other two people were stunned and rolled back. Young Master Li's suit was soaked with urine and the smell of urine filled the air. He knelt and bleeds, "Immortal. Immortal Lord, please spare my life. Bai Ning's spiritual vein is coveted by my Li family. I know all the information about the historical sites. Please don't kill me." Zhao Nu couldn't stand up, her pink skirt was scorched with black smoke, and she trembled, "The eyes of gods can destroy souls, we are building a foundation like this. dust, the campus cultivator circle is at their mercy. The casual cultivator's teeth were shattered and blood spurted out. The Alliance leader's elixir has failed, the immortal realm swallows the spirit. Tang Tianxian tapped his finger, and the three people's dantian exploded like fireworks. Their 7 orifices spurted blood into blood mist, and the corpses smashed into the stone steps and deep pits. Blood splattered on the walls, and the stench reached the sky. The onlookers stared with eyes wide open, and a boy burst into tears. Destroy the 3 foundation building statues with 1 finger. The gray-robed immortal, the savior of the campus. The girls screamed in worship, invincible. The powerful children of Li Zhao will be trampled to death like insects. Bai Ning's beautiful eyes were full of admiration. She stood up and bowed. The fragrant wind filled her nostrils with the fragrance of blood and sweat. The immortal has revealed the secret of the spirit formation. Bai Ning's talent has been enlightened. I am willing to follow you. Tang Tian nodded, and the immortal finger pressed between her eyebrows, and the golden light penetrated into the meridians. Pulse, introduction to Tianin immortal technique, transport in spiritual pulse, and overcome bottlenecks. Bai Ning's pretty face has a strong spiritual glow, and the meridians bang loudly like a rushing river. The later stage of qi refining goes straight to the middle stage of foundation building. The long skirt bulges, the spiritual light flows in the snow muscles, and the fragrant sweat the steaming heat wave in her dantian hit her face. She stood up with a gasp, and kowtowed, "Thank you, immortal lord." With 1 leap of foundation, Bai Ning will serve forever. Mu Shui stepped forward, wearing a windbreaker, and her beautiful eyes flashed with joy. Junior sister's spirit body is in harmony. Mu's intelligence, the spiritual formation requires Jianji Yang gathering is activated. Lin Fan has blocked the perimeter of the Li family patriarch. Zhao Jindan summons 50 cultivators to crush him. Lin Fan sent a message from a distance, his voice trembling, "Master." Grandpa Li Jindan has arrived with a serious injury. He will take hundreds of cultivators to block the campus. Tang Tian sneered and put his hands behind his back, wearing a grey robe and walking on the blood without dirt, and took Bai Ning Muchu to sneak into the ancient ruins in the back mountain. The moss marks at the entrance of the grotto are mottled, and the moonlight pours in like a Milky Way. The formations inside are faintly pulsating, and the aura is like mist, mixed with the aroma of 10,000 years old wine and the metallic smell of minerals. Tang Tian's cloth shoes hit the edge of the formation eye, and the immortal power was slightly explored. There was a loud, buzzed sound, the earth veins trembled, the stone wall cracked, spiritual light burst out, and the spiritual energy erupted like a volcano. The night wind carried wild waves and swept across the campus. They were all startled, and an old student of the Hidden World Foundation establishment flew into the air with his sword, staring and murmuring, "How terrifying is the spiritual formation when the edge is triggered." The whole school's spiritual veins are boiling, and the aura of the spirit is looming. Bai Ning's pretty face was shocked, and Mu Shuiyu clasped her hands together, "Master's touch, Jiangqing is shaken." Lin Fan's followers all had nosebleeds, and they shouted from a distance, "Stop old ancestor Li. If the master activates, it will lead to a skyrocketing catastrophe." Deep in the grotto, it is as dark as an eternal abyss. The moonlight penetrates through the cracks in the cracked stone, scattering mottled silver light. The reflected formations are like living creatures squirming, and they make a low humming sound like thousands of insects eating together. The air was stagnant and sticky, mixed with the decay of 10,000 years of spiritual minerals and the fragrance of aged elixirs. It was so strong and tangy that it made Mushue's pretty face wrinkle slightly. The blood stains on her long white dress were dried, and her pure spiritual veins faintly resonated. She gasped, and the moss under her snowy feet squeaked softly. Tang Tian's grey robe went ahead erratically, his cloth shoes silently stepped over the gravel in the formation, his eyes locked on the altar at the end, and his immortal consciousness swept. The Tianin sect's 9 yin and 9 yang formations are restricted layer by layer. The edges are only triggered by icebergs, and the core requires the melting of the blood spirit elixir of the deity. After saying this, the earth's veins rumbled, and the stone wall spirit vines surged like poisonous pythons. Green light wrapped around the legs and feet of the three people, and the bones made a crunching sound. Struggling but like a cow in the sea, she pressed the sword with her jade hand, her knuckles turned white and trembled. Master. The poison of the spiritual vine foundation is at its peak, and Mu Shui's spiritual power is completely blocked. Bai Ning's pretty face turned pale, her pure spiritual veins were sucked by the vines, her meridians were like thousands of needles, fragrant sweat dripped down her neck into her blood-stained dress, and her nose was moist and pungent. My benefactor, Bai Ning's talent resonates backlash, the spiritual array treats outsiders as enemies, and the gatekeeper elder appears. At the end of the altar, in the grey mist, a skinny old man sat cross-legged in the air. His white beard fluttered and the spiritual patterns on his robe sleeves flashed. His aura in the late stage of the golden elixir was like the pressure of a mountain. He squinted at Tang Tianxian's grey robe, and his ferocious laughter was like gravel rubbing together. Who is this kid? Zhao Wuji, the hidden elder of Jiangqing University, has guarded the Tianyin ruins for thousands of years. The edge of the spiritual array has surged, and he has been shocked. You, the beggar in grey robes, disturb the campus, dare to peek into the core. Bai Ning, the school beauty, steals the spiritual energy talent. I will spare you the furnace cauldron, kneel and lick my loyalty. Zhao Wuji pinched the magic formula with his fingers, and the 9 sun pillars of the altar burst out with golden light. The grotto shook like an earthquake, and the gravel rained down like jingling. The spirit vines grew hundreds of feet long, whipping the air and tearing the whistle, and hit Mu Shui's shoulder. Her head exploded with blood, and the smell of burnt meat hit her nose. She knelt down with a groan, her windbreaker torn to reveal the whip marks on her snow arms. The elder's golden elixir is so powerful, Mu Shui's foundation is like a bug. Master, be careful. Bai Ning's delicate body was strangled by the vines, and she smashed against the stone wall with a muffled sound. Blood spurted from her mouth and bubbled on the stone surface. Zhao Wuji's desperate smile reflected in his beautiful eyes. Campus elder, Quan, no matter how pure your talents are, you and I are like ants without gold elixirs. Beggars in grey robes, the spiritual formation is forbidden to swallow spirits, turn them into ashes. The entire cave was completely silent, and Lin Fan's gang members hid at the edge in the distance, and the voice transmission trembled like a sieve. Master. Zhao Wuji is the uncle of the Zhao family's golden elixir. The leader secretly donated the blood elixir, and hundreds of party members gathered around, and the campus blockade failed. Zhao Wuji laughed wildly, his white beard trembled, the golden elixir spiritual pressure surged like a tide, the air in the grotto twisted and buzzed, the spiritual vines were like 10,000 pythons eating together, rushing towards Tang Tianxian's grey robe. With a wave of his sleeves, the young pillar golden fire burned into the sky, and the heat wave hit his face mixed with the stench of sulfur. Young boy's eyes are indifferent. Nascent soul. It's just an illusion. The Tianyin sect is banned. Zhuyang Burn's soul, kneels down to offer the storage ring. This elder spares your life, let you be the campus tomb slave. Mu Shui's knees were bleeding, her pretty face was pale and beads of sweat rolled down. Master. Mu Shui is incompetent, and the Chamber of Commerce's resources are slow to mobilize. Li Zhao's remnant party broke the seal. Bai Ning huddled in the vine, his pure spiritual veins withered, and he cried, blood, my benefactor. Bai Ning is unable to guard the gate, but the spiritual formation recognizes pure but it is controlled by the elder. Lin Fan had a nosebleed in the distance, his teeth were broken and he bit his lip. Master God Lin Fan repented and pledged his allegiance, and the latest developments in the world of immortality were reported. The alliance leader turned into a god to spy on him. Zhao Wuji had hidden clues to the Tianyuan pill, and his followers vowed to stop Baisan Xiu to the death. Despair was overwhelming, the spiritual pressure of the grotto was like an iron bucket. Tang Tian's grey robe was motionless, his cloth shoes lightly stepped on the formations, and the vines suddenly stiffened. Tang Tian sneered and glanced at him, his grey robe was windless, and the invisible immortal realm exploded like a black hole. A loud buzz shook the cave, and Zhao Wuji's golden elixir spiritual pressure disintegrated inch by inch. He widened his muddy old eyes, and his pupils reflected Tang Tian's figure with his hands behind his hands, as if the sky were collapsing. His throat rattled. The immortal realm swallows spirits. The later stage of my golden elixir is as frozen as ice. Xiao Xiao Sun, you, the peak form of Yuaning. The spirit vines wailed and broke into ashes, falling like black snow. Mu Shue's delicate body bounced back, her beautiful eyes flashed with tears, and she knelt down and kowtowed with sweat. Master, the golden elixir is like a worm. Mu Shue witnessed that the blockade of the Chamber of Commerce is coming. The bulging spiritual light circulated, and she stood up and knelt down. Her beautiful face was so shocked that she said, "My benefactor's eyes destroyed the pressure of the golden elixir, and Bai Ning's spirit body resonated, and I am safe and sound." Zhao Wuji's soul flew away, and his skinny body flew back and hit the altar. Stone chips flew and jingled. The sleeves of his suit robe were scorched with black smoke, and he hit the ground with sweat like rain. Monster. Tianyin sect prohibits recognition. Lord. Where did your gray robe and cloth shoes come from? In the campus cultivating circle, the Zhao family left it alone. Before he finished speaking, Tang Tianxian tapped his finger, and the air tore apart, and the breath of the golden elixir exploded like fireworks. His 7 orifices spurted blood and turned into blood mist. The corpse smashed into the pit of the altar, and the blood splashed into the sky with a stench. The broken jade from the dantian jingled and rolled down, mixed with the residual light of the Tianyuan Dan. Outside the shade, Lin Fan's followers glared, and a strong man burst into tears. One finger to destroy the late-stage elder of the golden elixir. Master, the grey-robed immortal, Zhao Wuji is as powerful as dust. In the distance, the remnants of the Zhao family's golden elixir fell to their knees with weak legs, screaming and hugging each other. Uncle is dead. Immortal realm is suppressing the realm, scattered. Cultivation at 50 is useless. With a wave of his hand, Mu Shueyu, monks in black uniforms from the Chamber of Commerce with swords swarmed, and the iron gates of the sealed campus buzzed. The night wind carried blood and spiritual energy, Master's divine power. Mu's resources are in full control of the campus. Patriarch Li Baisan cultivated the surrounding beasts. Bai Ning stood up, pure in spirit body and formation patterns. Resonating, her beautiful eyes pounced on Tang Tian with admiration, and the fragrant wind filled her nose with the fragrance of blood and sweat. My benefactor crushed the elder, Bai Ning officially followed, and my companion in cultivating immortals will serve forever. Tang Tian nodded, and swung the sleeves of his grey robe and flew out 80 blood elixirs. Boom, there was a loud noise, the 9 yin and 9 yang pillars lit up, the red and blue spiritual lights intertwined like dragons and phoenixes, the ground tremor spread throughout the campus, the lake rolled back into a tornado, the trees snapped, and the dormitory lights swayed and the whole school screamed. The spiritual energy is awakening, the whole body is hot, the spiritual roots are opened. On the campus avenue, ordinary students fell to the ground and twitched. Their meridians were buzzing and their spiritual roots were awakening. A boy's eyes bulged, his skin was glowing, and his nose was fragrant. I refined the first level of qi. Bai Ning, the school bell, summoned a miracle. The girls hugged each other and screamed, steaming with fragrant sweat. Spiritual pulses are connected. The powerful Li Zhao is finished, and the grey-robed immortal dominates the campus. The hidden immortal cultivator flew into the air with his sword, his face turned pale and he murmured, "The spiritual formation is fully activated, the aura of transformation is filling the air." Thousands of people in the school have awakened their spiritual roots, and the pattern of cultivating immortals in Jiangqing has been reversed. Tang Tian stood up on the altar with his hands behind his back, crushed the residue of Zhao Wuji's dantian with his cloth shoes, and injected the immortal power into the center of Bai Ning's eyebrows. The heavenly hidden immortal technique penetrated deeply, and the spiritual light burst out from her delicate body. In the middle stage of foundation building, she went straight to the peak of foundation building. Her long skirt tore to reveal the spirit patterns on her snow-white jade legs. The heat wave in her dantian hit her face like a furnace. She gasped and knelt down, sobbing softly, "Thank you, Master. My cultivation has made a leap, my pure spirit body has been perfected, my partners have pledged their loyalty to the death, and the 9 Eens have gathered to help." Mu Shui stepped forward and clasped her hands, her beautiful eyes sparkling with joy. "Junior sister, peak of foundation building." Mu Shui transferred 100,000 spirit stones from the Chamber of Commerce to the spirit array, and the master personally took the Tianyuan breaking pill. Lin Fan climbed into the cave, his suit was stained with blood and knelt down, his voice trembling like a sieve. "Master repented." Lin Fan pledged his allegiance, and provided the leader of the news. "The world of immortal cultivation is shaken, the spiritual energy wave spreads thousands of miles, the eyes of the big family are focused on Jiangqing, the old Yuanying monster of the Zhang family and the Wang family is about to suppress." At the core of the grotto, Tianyuan breaking the sky pill emerged with bright golden light, and the aroma of the medicine was as mellow as wine. Tang Tianxian held it in his palm and put the pill into the storage ring. Grey-robed hunter sneered, "The ants are watching." I swallowed the pill and turned into a god. The campus spiritual formation gathers spirits, the whole school awakens, the Mu family transforms into a sect, Bai Ning Lin Fan listens to the order, and builds a new force. The spiritual energy surged like a tsunami sweeping through Jiangqing, and clouds in the sky layers of rolling thunder loomed, and the lights of the hidden family in the distant mountains were all bright. The ancestor of the Yuaning stared in the sky, his withered face twisted. "The spiritual formation of Jiangqing University has awakened? Who is the grey-robed immortal?" King Zhang joins forces to bloodbath the campus and swallow up spiritual root resources. The night wind carries a bloody spiritual tide, the undercurrent of the world of immortality is turbulent, the iron hooves of the big family are quietly approaching, and a bloody storm is about to break out. Bai Ning and Mu Shui knelt side by side, Tang Tian's grey eyes swept across the campus, his cloth shoes were stained with blood, and the slight diarrhea in the fairyland suppressed the aftermath. In the distance, the ancestor of the Li family led Bai Sangxiu to block the Chamber of Commerce, and the spiritual network burst and wailed. His skinny black robe was stained with blood, and he coughed up blood when he was seriously injured. Old Jin Dan's body is broken, and he vows to surround the campus. Zhao Jindan's daughter's followers collapsed and knelt down, screaming, "The family summons Yuanying, the grey-robed beggar is about to die." Lin Fan's followers swarmed forward, with swords shining like nets, flesh and blood flying everywhere, and a strong man roared, "The master is invincible, Lin Fan be loyal, kill the remnants of Li Zhao." Mu Shui's windbreaker hunted and mobilized the Chamber of Commerce to fly to the sky. "Master, the campus is under full control, and all the awakened students in the school worship the fairy in grey robes." Bai Ning's pure spiritual glory guard formation, with an admiring face, Master's partner, Bai Ning guards the spirit array to welcome the big family. Iron hoof. Tang Tian waved his sleeves, and the immortal power surged out. The spiritual shield formed above the campus, and the golden light suppressed the aftermath of the surge. The spies from the distant family were stunned, and the jade slipped shattered and jingled. "This is a sign of becoming a god. The grey-robed immortal lord, I am the only one." Tang Tian's eyes flickered and he sneered, "When the spiritual array is activated, it will be the moment when I dominate Jiangqing. Prepare your car and I will go there in person." In the night wind, the aura of the building soared like a dragon, the undercurrent of the campus surged, an ancient power awakened, and it was about to overturn the pattern of cultivating immortals. There is a turbulent undercurrent on the campus. At the moment when the ancient spiritual formation is fully awakened, the eyes of the cultivating world are gathered. What kind of bloody storm will the rising spiritual tide unleash? In the core of the grotto, the spiritual energy is like the afterglow of a violent wave. The red and blue formation pillars are intertwined and pulsating, emitting a low dragon roar. The air is filled with the residual fragrance of bloody burnt flesh and Tianyuan pill, as strong as wine and pungent. Tang Tian's grey robe was behind his hands, and his cloth shoes trampled on the blood of Zhao Wuji's corpse, which was clean and unsullied. His immortal eyes were slightly closed, and his immortal consciousness swept through the storage ring. The 80-year-old blood spirit pill's golden light was restrained, 100,000 tons of spiritual stones piled up like a sea, the Tianyuan breaking sky pill floated in the palm of his hand, the pill pattern rotated like a galaxy, and the majestic power of the medicine hit his face with heat waves. Mu Shue's windbreaker kneeled aside, blood scabs oozing out from the whip marks on her shoulders, and fragrant sweat dripping down her neck. Her beautiful eyes stared at the master's grey robe with admiration, and her voice was soft and trembling. Master's divine power suppresses the spiritual tide. Mu Shue's Chamber of Commerce flying boat has locked the iron barrel of the campus. 100,000 spiritual stones will be transported to the grotto. The blood elixir helps the whole school awaken students. Establishing the foundation. Bai Ning's pure spirit body is complete, and the spiritual patterns of her long dress are flowing and torn, revealing her snowy legs. She kneels down and bows, her beautiful face flushed and gasping. My benefactor passed on the immortal secret. Bai Ning's peak veins are unblocked, the purine gathers in the formation eyes, guarding the gate without worry. Thousands of people on campus worship the fairy in grey robe. Lin Fan's suit was stained with blood as he crawled to the entrance of the cave. His nosebleed was dripping with pebbles. Hundreds of his followers held swords and lowered their heads. The strong man's nose was first sniffing the spiritual fragrance, and the spiritual energy of refining his energy was first appearing. His voice was like a mosquito fly. Master repented. Lin Fan's old troops massacred 300 of Li and Zhao's remnants. The campus avenue was full of blood. All the information was reported. Zhang family and Wang family nascent soul alliance. With his hand, Qian Xiu, an iron cavalryman, is approaching the school gate. The leader of the alliance is watching in the shadows, providing clues to the Tianyuan pill. Tang Tian snorted coldly, waved his grey robe sleeves, and 10 blood spirit pills flew out. They exploded in the air and filled the air with golden mist. The spiritual pressure of the grotto suddenly rose. He swallowed one into his throat. The pill fire burned his belly like lava rolling, his meridians buzzed and expanded, and the nascent soul peaked. Feng's aura faintly touched the door to transform into a god, and his grey eyes opened with a flash of lightning. Take a brief rest and take stock of the harvest. I have healed all my old wounds, the spirit stone formation has gathered spirits, and the whole school has awakened as the basis. Mu Shui Bai Ning, Lin Fan obeyed the order, built the prototype of a new force, and the campus transformed into the Tianyin sect as the helmsman. The 3 people kowtowed. Mu Shuiyu pinched the secrets with her fingers, and the Chamber of Commerce the monks in black hovered in the sky with their swords. The flying boats buzzed and landed on the Lingxia mountain, and the altars shone like silver hills. The white condensed pure spiritual light poured into the formation eyes, the blue light of the 9 pillars skyrocketed, and the spiritual mist of the campus lake rolled back. Lin Fan gritted his teeth and climbed up, and the strong man from the old army roared in loyalty. The master is invincible. Lin Fan atones for his sins, and the pioneer of slaughtering King Zhang. The campus was dark at night, and the neon lights flickered, reflecting the afterglow of the spiritual tide. The whole school fell to the ground and twitched and revived. The boys' skin had spiritual patterns appearing for the first time, and the spiritual fragrance on their noses was screaming in ecstasy. The spiritual roots are open. The grey-robed immortal summoned a miracle, and the school bell Bai Ning sent an order to surrender. The girls hugged each other and sweated, and the meridians were like fire. It is possible to build the foundation. Li Zhao's dignitaries are reduced to ashes, and the campus sect is rising. The secluded cultivator looked down from the sky, his face pale and his legs weak. The spiritual formation is fully opened, the golden shield of the omen of transformation is protecting the sky, and the pattern of Jiangqing is reversed. Tang Tian's immortal palm pressed on the altar. The Lingxia mountain, bang, melted the formation pattern. The earth's earthquake spread through the campus, the dormitory building lights exploded, the glass shattered and jingled, the shadows of the trees danced like ghosts, the spiritual energy storm was beginning to condense, and the air was distorted and the heat wave hit the face with the fragrance of sulfur dandelion. Just as he was about to take a deep dive into the Tian Yuan Dan, Tang Tian's gray eyes suddenly narrowed, and his immortal consciousness swept away. "Are you coming soon?" Outside the school gate, black clouds and thunder loomed. The Zhang family and the Wang family's cavalry Qianxiu gathered, their swords soared in the air like locusts covering the sun, and their spiritual pressure buzzed like mountains. For the first time, Zhang Wuya's golden elixir reaches its peak. He hunts in black robes with white hair and sweeps the campus spirit shield with a ferocious smile. The golden elixir glows in the sky and a heat wave rolls in. Who is the beggar in gray robe? The hidden spirit formation has awakened, and thousands of people on campus have awakened. All the life roots are in King Zhang's bag. The remnants of Zhaoli reported that the Yuanying immortal lord was just an illusion, and the elder's golden elixir was at its peak, and the cover was shattered. Ting, the school bell Bai Ning Purine Furnace Cauldron, Mushue Chamber of Commerce Resources Admiration Family, all dedicated to the Wang family. Where is Lin Fan's old team? Counterattack the campus, bloodbath awakening insects. Hundreds of traders in Lin Fan's old team were shaken when they heard the summons. The strong man's nosebleed came again and he gritted his teeth. King Zhang is powerful, the master is in gray robe. Lin Fan is already a minister, the old team listens to me. However, a rebel leader snickered and sent a message. Lin Fan is a traitor. Lin is joining forces with King Zhang to swallow the resources of the spirit formation. In a sudden crisis, the school gate's spiritual network exploded with a boom. Zhang Wuya's golden elixir was slapped with a palm, the spiritual shield trembled and the golden light dimmed, gravel rained down on the school road and jingled, and the heat wave hit the face and the smell of scorched earth rose to the sky. Mu Shue's pretty face turned pale, her windbreaker torn, and her foundation-building spirit struggled. "Master." Zhang Wan Qianxiu has broken the seal, Li Zhao's remnants have rekindled, and Lin Fan's old department is in civil strife. Bai Ning's pure spirit body was crushed, and her long skirt bulged with blue light and collapsed. The back of her delicate body fluttered against the tree with a muffled sound, and her blood flowed with fragrant sweat. Benefactor. The peak of the golden elixir joins forces, the campus spiritual formation backfires and awakens, and thousands of lives are wailing like insects. The teachers and students in the school screamed, and those who had just awakened their spiritual roots fell to the ground. The pulse reversed, the bloodshot mouth gurgled, and the boys stared and bulged, the powerful cavalry. Where is the gray robe of the immortal lord? The campus is dead. The girl held her head and cried blood. Bai Ning, the campus beauty, is powerless. Mu Shue's seal is shattered, and the spiritual energy storm reacts. Burn your body. The traders from Lin Fan's old army swarmed in, the swords pierced the air and the whistle sounded, and the flesh and blood flew everywhere, and the stink was everywhere. A strong man roared, Prince Zhang promised a golden elixir, Lin Fan is a loser, and the grey-robed beggar is dead. Overwhelmed by despair, Zhang Wuya laughed wildly and his white hair trembled. The golden elixir spiritual fire burned down from the sky, the campus trees burst into flames, and the smell of burning sulfur hit his nose. Wang Tieshue's giant axe split the shield, and the iron light tore through the golden light with a crisp, click, sound, and the cracks in the spiritual shield spread like a spider web. The members of the Zhao family's golden elixir daughter resurrected and surrounded them with screams, "Uncle's revenge." Yuan Ying's fake trick, King Zhang crushed him. The ancestor of the Li family was seriously injured in black robe and coughed up blood, leading hundreds of casual cultivators into the sea of fire, the blood debt of parents and children, the campus bloodbath. Mu Shuebai knelt down with her delicate body, her spiritual power was exhausted, her beautiful eyes reflected the despair of the iron cavalry locust. "Master, Mu Shue is incompetent," the Chamber of Commerce's flying boat was burned. Lin Fan's party members collapsed and knelt down, nosebleeds spurted out, and he burst into tears. "Master." The old team rebelled, and Lin Fan was unable to atone for his sin. The campus was dead silent, the spiritual energy storm was out of control and backfired, and the awakened student's skin was burned to black and howled like thousands of ghosts. Tang Tian appeared in a hunting grotto in grey robes, treading the bloody road silently with his cloth shoes, and sneered with his hands behind his back, "The repairs are not finished yet, are the ants disturbing your dreams?" With a glance of his fairy eyes, the invisible fairyland exploded with a loud buzz that shook the campus, and Zhang Wuya's golden elixir spiritual pressure froze every inch. His eyes widened, pupils bulged, and his throat clucked, "This immortal realm swallows the sky. My golden elixir is at its peak, as stiff as an insect. Grey robe, you, the true form of a god." Wang Tieshue's giant axe was frozen in the air, and the iron tower's body was dripping with sweat as it hit the ground. "Monster. King Zhang's alliance. The spirit shield is self-healing." The traitor's sword clanked, and his legs were weak. The spiritual energy storm boomed, turned into a tidal wave. The love between red and blue dragons and phoenixes swept across the campus. The fire instantly extinguished the trees and their spiritual brilliance came back to life. The awakening meridians buzzed and rushed straight to the peak of Qi refining. The screams turned into ecstasy, "The immortal lord takes action. The spiritual storm helps to build the foundation." The climax broke out. Tang Tian waved the sleeves of his grey robe, and the heavenly hidden immortal sword appeared. The sword shone like a black hole and tore through the sky with a whistle, slicing directly between Zhang Wuya's eyebrows. His soul was shattered and his withered body exploded, blood mist sprayed like fireworks, golden elixir fragments jingled and rolled down, catching the residual light of the sky. Wang Tieshue glared and suddenly broke the giant axe, "Destroy the golden elixir peak elder with one sword. The Zhang family is dead." Before he finished speaking, the aftermath of the sword energy swept over, and his iron tower body bombed and exploded into a shower of flesh and blood that filled the sky with a stinking stench. Mushue's foundation building spirit surged again, and the windbreaker jade hunting swords came out to kill the remnants of the Li family ancestors. The skinny head in black robes flew up, and the purine blue light gathered in white. The spirit pattern on the long skirt exploded and shot ice arrows like a dragon. The Zhao family's golden elixir daughters' party members were frozen, and the screams turned into ice sculptures and shattered, pop. All the teachers and students in the school were filled with spiritual fragrance, and their beautiful eyes were bulging, and they knelt down and kowtowed. "The immortal lord killed the elder with one sword. Mu Shuabai condensed the divine power of the sisters, and the campus sect will worship you forever." The traitors in Lin Fan's old army collapsed and hugged each other, and the strong man burst into tears and nosebleeds. "Master atones, Lin Fan made a meritorious service, and slaughtered King Zhang's 300 pioneers." Lin Fan gritted his teeth and danced with his sword, while his blood-stained suit roared. The old army obeyed the order and submitted to the Tianyin sect. The intelligence revealed the weakness of King Zhang Yuanying. Qianxiu iron cavalry's legs were soft and he knelt in the sky, his spiritual pressure was gone. Zhang Wang Sanxio's nosebleed and he screamed, "Grey-robed immortal lord, I am the only one. The Zhang family and the Wang family retreat, please spare your life." Mu Shuabai stood side by side beside Tang Tian, looking pretty. The face flushed and the spiritual light circulated. The Chamber of Commerce flying boat reorganized and sealed the sky. Bai Ning's purine protective array golden shield shone brightly. Master's new power, Bai Ning Mushue's combined efforts, the campus sect is formed, and thousands of disciples in the school are gathered. Tang Tian he glanced with his hands behind his back, smashed the golden elixir residue with his cloth shoes, and sneered. The Tianyin sect was established at the helm. The Mu Clan Chamber of Commerce Alliance was first formed, the urban immortal cultivating pattern was dominated by me. Lin Fan atones for his sins, takes charge of the information hall, and is rewarded with the Foundation Establishment Pill for awakened students. The whole school cheered thunderously, the spiritual energy surged across the river, and the city trembled, the lights of the hidden family swayed, and their faces turned pale. The campus sect rose up overnight. Elder Zhang Wang was killed with a sword. The grey-robed immortal, turned into a god. At the climax of the chapter, the thunderclouds over the campus are rolling blood red, and two yuanying auras from the distant mountains are approaching like tornadoes. Zhang Tianba, the head of the Zhang family, appears in the air with a twisted face in the middle stage of a yuanying. His white-robed smile is fierce and the spiritual pressure burns into the sky. Destroy my elders, you bitch. Tianyin is a fake immortal, and this yuanying is tearing off your gray robe. Wang Wushuang, the head of the Wang family in the late nascent soul stage, the iron robe and axe flashed and thundered, joined forces to bloodbath the campus and swallow up the resources of the spirit array. A sign of becoming a god. An ant is talking nonsense. The spirit shield buzzed and trembled, and the crisis suddenly rose. Tang Tian's gray eyes flashed with lightning, and he sneered and put his hands behind his hands. The patriarch is here in person. In the final showdown, one sword is enough. A bloody storm is about to break out. The blood clouds over the campus rolled like boiling blood, the thunder exploded with a harsh crack mixed with metal friction, the heat wave carried the smell of sulfur and burnt earth, the golden light of the spiritual shield trembled like a candle in the wind, and the crack spread like a spider web and made a crisp, click sound. Zhang Tianba's withered face was twisted, his white robe was bulging, the spiritual pressure in the middle stage of the nascent soul was like a mountain toppling, the heat wave was burning in the sky, the campus trees were withered and the leaves were falling like rain. He raised his withered claws high, the blood-red spiritual light gathered into a palm print and smashed down with a bang, the spiritual shield shook violently. The golden light dimmed inch by inch, the gravel was splashed and jingled on the ground like projectiles, and the awakened disciples were sprayed with nosebleeds. The ground twitched, and the spiritual patterns on the boy's skin turned red. He screamed like a ghost crying, Chief Yuanying. The spirit shield is broken, and the Tianyin sect is dead. The gray robe of the immortal lord can't hold on. The girl hugged the ball with sweat and blood, and her meridians were as hot and painful as fire. Zhang Tianba wiped out the golden elixir elder with one palm. Who can resist us chi refining bugs? Bai Ning, the school beauty, run away. Wang Wushuang's iron robe and axe flickered like a thunder snake, and nascent soul's late-stage aura crushed the entire audience. His iron tower body stepped in the air and, boomed, the earth veins shook. The giant axe was raised high and wrapped in spiritual fire. The axe blade tore into the sky and whistled straight into the middle of the spiritual shield. There was a loud click, and the golden shield cracked open. The spiritual energy storm. The backlash was like a mad knife mincing meat, boiling water vapor from the campus lake filled the nostrils with blood, thousands of disciples in the school fell to their knees with weak legs, and the strong man's nose was burnt and smelly, coughing wildly. Wang Wushuang axe god. Joining forces with nascent soul, it's just an illusion of the fairyland. Lin Fan's information is wrong, the beggar in grey robe is about to die. Mu Shui windbreaker hunting the hunter's shoulder injury burst and blood flowed profusely. She struggled to build up her spiritual power and the jade sword came out of the shield, but was blown away by the aftermath and hit the tree with a muffled sound. Her pretty face was pale and dripping with sweat, and her beautiful eyes reflected the blood cloud in despair. Master. Mu's flying boat was sealed in the air and shattered, the Chamber of Commerce's mineral veins were cut off by King Zhang, the supply of spiritual stones was cut off, and the sect's resources exhausted. Bai Ning's purine blue light gathered in her long skirt and she led her disciples to break the ice wall. Her delicate body retreated and her legs were stained with blood. Her face was flushed and trembling. My dear friend. The foundation of Qiansheng is not stable, the nascent soul is burned in the sky, our purine protective formation collapses, and the campus is about to be bathed in blood. Lin Fan's suit was stained with blood and his nose was bleeding profusely. The strong men from his old army were huddled together and trembling. The intelligence hall had already gathered all the information but was unable to fight back. He gritted his teeth and crawled to his knees and said, Master. Zhang Tianba's inner demon in the middle stage of Yuaning was injured by old demons. Wang Wushuang's axe soul was cracked. Lin Fan sneaked in and disintegrated. But the iron cavalry Wanxiu surrounded the school gate and rebelled. The disciples should be swarming, and the sect will be dead immediately when the helm is divided. Zhang Tianba laughed wildly, his withered face wrinkled, and his bloody palms shot continuously. The golden light of the spirit shield swayed like a candle, and the heat wave burned the awakened disciples. The smell of burnt hair rose to the sky. Destroy me, the grey-robed slave, Elder Zhang Wuya, and the Tianyin fake sect took shape overnight. I present the nascent soul-burning spirit array, the campus belle Bai Ning pure furnace cauldron, swallow up all Mushua's resources. Wang Wushuang thundered and roared, his giant axe swept across, the iron light tore through the school road like a tornado and splashed, the disciples' skin cracked and blood mist sprayed. Gulu, 5,000 alliance cavalry, thousands of casual cultivators are pressing down on Jiangqing. Lord Zhang of the immortal cultivation realm, what a joke. Kneel down and offer the spiritual stone Tianyuan pill, it will save your life. The hidden cultivator looked from afar, his face was ashen and his legs were weak. If Yuanying joins forces, the campus spiritual formation will be broken, and the grey-robed young Yuanying's illusion of being at the peak of his transformation will lead to defeat. Despair swallowed the campus like a black tide, the spiritual shield cracked and the golden light dimmed, the spiritual energy storm was out of control and backfired on the disciples' meridians, thousands of lives were wailing like thousands of worms, bloodshot eyes and ears spewed out and the stench splashed everywhere. Bai Ning knelt side by side on the bloody ground. Her windbreaker and long skirt were torn to reveal the blood marks on her snow muscles. Her spiritual power was exhausted and she gasped heavily, Master, the disciples of the sect are powerless, King Zhang's resource network cannot be cut off. Bai Ning kneels side by side. Shui Shang has no plan to fight. Lin Fan's party members collapsed and held their heads, and the strong old man burst into tears and nosebleeds. The intelligence hall is ruined, Lin Fan has no way to atone for his sins, and the nascent soul clan leader is here in person, Wei Ants. The distant iron cavalry, rumbling, approached the school gate. The light of the sword was like locusts covering the sun, the spiritual pressure of King Zhang gathered into clouds, the blood-red thunder was brewing to burn the sky, the campus was dead in the night, only the thunderous heartbeat was left. Tang Tian's grey robe stood silently on the grotto's bloody path with his cloth shoes behind his hands. His immortal eyes were slightly closed as if he had not woken up, but the grey robe hunted but did not move. The disciples' beautiful eyes bulged and screamed in despair, where is the immortal Lord? The spirit shield is broken, and the nascent soul bloodbath is coming. Zhang Tianba smiled grimly and raised his withered claws again. The nascent soul spirit fire fell like a meteorite and smashed into the fragments of the spirit shield. The heat wave hit his face and the smell of burnt meat was pungent. The golden light wiped out the campus and exposed the cavalry locusts. Wang Wushuang's giant axe charged up and roared with the soul of the axe. The iron light ripped through the air and went straight to Tang Tian's grey robe, death. At this moment, Tang Tian's grey eyes suddenly opened and burst with lightning, and his immortal consciousness swept away like a tide. He coldly snorted and waved his sleeve robe. 100,000 tons of storage ring spirit stone, buzzed and melted into the heart of the array. The palm was stiff and empty, the face was pale and the pupils were bulging. This, the spiritual formation swallows my nascent soul's spiritual fire. Hui, you, the formation melts the spiritual stone like mud, the ability to transform into a god. Wang Wushuang's giant axe froze every inch, and the iron tower's body was sweating like rain as it hit the ground, his throat gurgling, impossible. King Zhang's alliance has 5,000 iron cavalry. The spiritual shield self-healed and swallowed the axe's light, our nascent soul, is like stuck in a quagmire. Mu Shui's pretty face flushed and she was hunting in a windbreaker. She kneaded the secrets with her jade fingers and sent a message to the Chamber of Commerce. Her voice was soft and trembling but firm, Master's decree, the Mu family cuts off King Zhang's mineral vein, and the Wang family's elixir supply is completely blocked. The business war network is opened, and the black-clothed monks in Feizhou intercept the resource ship with their swords. Zhang Tianba's inner demons are not healed by elixirs, and the cavalry's spiritual power is exhausted. There is a bang in the distance, and the flames of King Zhang's spirit stone flying boat are burning into the sky, and the scattered cultivators are bleeding from the nose and their legs are weak. Mushue Chamber of Commerce is backfired, the elixir is gone. The Long Yuanying is unstable. Bai Ning's pure Yin spirit body's blue light skyrocketed and the spiritual patterns on her long skirt flowed. She led her thousands of disciples to build an ice formation to resist. Ice arrows shot like dragons at the iron cavalry, and hundreds of frozen people shattered into pieces and burst into blood mist. The disciples were wide-eyed and ecstatic. Screaming, "School beauty by Ning's divine power." Pure Yin protects the sect, nascent soul cavalry is as stiff as a dog, foundation establishment disciples are undefeated. The strong man's nose surged with spiritual fragrance again, and his meridians buzzed at the peak of foundation establishment. Senior sister Bai Ning sent the order, resist tenaciously, immortal Lord Grey Robe has turned around. Tang Tian's immortal palm clicked on the formation, and his grey robe automatically moved without wind. His deep fairy voice spread throughout the campus, Tianyin immortal technique, passed on to the disciples of the sect. The blood spirit pill melts the meridians, and the foundation is completed overnight. The storage ring blood spirit pill flew out of the golden mist at the age of 30, and the disciples swallowed the pill and burned it with fire. Boom! The meridians expanded, and the spiritual radiance shot straight into the middle stage of foundation building. The boy's skin glowed with golden light and screamed, "The immortal Lord spreads the magic." The blood spirit pill is magically effective, and the chi refining leaps through the foundation building. Our Tianyin sect is invincible, the immortal technique enters the soul, senior sister Bai Ning leads us to slaughter the iron cavalry. Lin Fan gritted his teeth and got up, his suit stained with blood from his nose. He lowered his voice to the old department, information hall operation. Lin Fan sneaked into Zhang Wang's camp and disintegrated the interior. The weaknesses of the inner demons were exposed. Wang Wushuang axe soul crack pill, the medicine is broken. The figure rushed into the rear camp of the cavalry like a ghost. In a moment, civil strife broke out. Zhang Wang's scattered cultivators fought among themselves, swords danced and blood flew everywhere. The strong man rebelled and shouted, "Lin Fan's intelligence is true. The demon in the patriarch's heart has been revealed, and the axe soul has collapsed. We are descending to the hidden sect." The battle situation reversed, the golden mask of the spiritual array was shining brightly on top, the 5,000 iron cavalry knelt weakly in the sky, nosebleed sprayed out, Zhang Tianba's withered face was twisted and the nascent soul was shaking, his eyes widened and his throat clucked, "Grey Robe." Immortal Realm Fusion Spirit Stone, Immortal Secret Art Foundation Building Legion, Mu Shuashang's battle broke my foundation, Lin Fan's inner ghost collapsed. I am in the middle nascent soul stage. The inner demon is burned. Wang Wushuang's iron robe cracked and the axe glow dimmed, and sweat and blood flowed. Birth, monster. King Zhang's alliance collapses, the spiritual formation swallows the sky, you, the origin of the hidden immortal lord. The true relic of the god. Tang Tian rose in grey robe with cloth shoes behind his hands, looking down like a god. The invisible immortal realm exploded with a loud buzz that shook the river city, the nascent soul was crushed and shattered like glass. Pop, he pointed out with a sneer, the hidden immortal sword appeared in a black hole and tore through the sky with swordlight, reaching directly between the eyebrows of the two clan leaders. Zhang Tianba's soul was shattered and he knelt in the air with his head in his withered claws. Immortal Lord, spare your life. The Zhang family offers resources to surrender. Wang Wushuang's giant axe clinked on the ground, and he knelt on the iron tower with blood clouds in his eyes. The Wang family's axe soul is dedicated, beg for peace. All the disciples in the school were thundering with joy. Mu Shua Bai Ning stood side by side in admiration and said, Master's immortal origin is exposed, his divine power crushes the Yuanying. Lin Fan, blood-stained, returned to his old department and kowtowed. The civil strife collapsed 300 times, and all the information was presented. Tang Tianxian's eyes were cold, his grey robe sleeves waved, and the souls of the two clan leaders were frozen. The flying smoke is gone. Zhang Tianba Wang Wushuang's withered face was pale, and he clenched his teeth to promise the heavenly thunder to bang and kowtowed with blood flowing from his nose. Immortal Master, Lord Zhang is the minister. The campus cheered loudly, the spiritual energy surged into the river city, and the lights of the hidden family were extinguished. The Yuanyin clan's leader knelt down and swore that the Tianyin sect would dominate overnight. The gray-robed immortal lord is supreme. The aftermath of the spiritual tide spreads thousands of miles, the neon lights of Jiangqing tremble, the hidden forces look like wolves, the hook is buried, new forces rise, and the bloody battle of family suppression is imminent. The dark cracks hissed, tore through the night sky like sharp claws peeling away flesh and blood, golden eyes swept across the campus with cold lightning, and the power of the transformed gods was like an invisible mountain toppling over. The golden light of the spiritual shield buzzed and trembled and twisted. The heat wave mixed with the stench of decaying spirit corpses assaulted the nostrils. Thousands of disciples in the school were reversing their foundation-building meridians and howling in pain. Thousands of ghosts cried out, nosebleeds sprayed out, and the blood mist filled the air. The spirit patterns on boys' skins burned red, swollen, and cracked open. The strong men knelt down with weak legs and clucked their throats, the power of the gods. The leader's golden eyes. The Tianyin sect was destroyed immediately, and the grey robe of the immortal lord couldn't hold on. The girls hugged each other and sweat dripped with blood, and their delicate bodies trembled. She shook her skin and said, "The cracks swallow the sky, the golden shield of the spiritual formation is shattered like paper, King Zhang's surrender is useless, our foundation-building bugs are in vain." Mu Shui's windbreaker hunting shoulder injury burst and blood flowed, her jade sword struggled to protect her body, but every inch was dim, her pretty face turned pale and her beautiful eyes reflected despair. "Master." Mu Shishang the resource network was cut off, and the sect was wiped out with a single thought, and the sect was turned into ashes. The white condensed purine gathered in the blue light and the long skirt bulged, the ice wall clicked, and the snow legs were stained with blood, and the flushed face trembled and whispered, "Benefactor immortal lord, the purine protective formation collapsed, the alliance leader is watching, our Tianyin sect, is the end." Zhang Tianba's withered face was twisted and the nascent soul pressure shattered like glass. He knelt down with his head in his hands and his bloody palms trembled. His withered eyes bulged and his throat roared loudly, "Leader of the Transformation God Alliance." Zhang Zhegang swore allegiance, but the old wounds of the inner demons have not healed, and the spiritual fire burned his body. "I resisted. The grey-robed immortal lord, there is no way to spare my life." Wang Wushuang's iron robe split open and dripped with sweat and hit the ground. The giant axe clanged as it fell on the subway tower, and his body shook like chaff. Tears flowed from his nose. The elixir of the crack in the axe soul is broken, and the nascent soul is like an ant in the later stage. The leader's golden eyes glanced, the Wang family was wiped out. Lin Fan's suit was stained with blood and he knelt on the bloody road. The strong man in his old army hugged and trembled. He gritted his teeth and sent a message to the intelligence hall, "Master. The Rift Transformation God is not a force in Jiangqing, the hidden immortal alliance." Tianyuan Dan Lin Soa pointed at the campus spiritual formation, Lin Fan's intelligence network, the alliance leader's ambition to swallow up resources. The hidden cultivator looked from afar, his face was ashen and his legs were weak, and he whispered, "The nascent soul knelt down and swore to hide in the sky collapsed and the god pressed down on his head, the young face in grey robe, the illusion will be destroyed." The black tide of despair once again engulfs the campus, the golden glow of the spiritual shroud is swaying and cracking, the spiritual energy storm backfires on the disciples' meridians, burning pain, thousands of lives wailing, bloodshot eyes and ears spraying with a fishy stench, and the iron cavalry of 5,000 surrenders. His nosebleeds spurted out and he knelt to the sky and kowtowed, "Immortal Lord, help me." In the rift of the gods, Jiangqing's immortal world has returned to its leader. Tang Tian stood in the formation with his hands behind his hands and cloth shoes. His immortal eyes were slightly closed as if he was not awake. The disciples' beautiful eyes bulged and screamed, "Why is the immortal Lord moving? Golden eyes swallowing spirit formation, we will perish." The golden eyes snorted coldly and sent thousands of ghosts howling through their minds, "Hidden immortal Lord. A small trick to deceive the Yuanying, the immortal Cultivation Alliance envoy. The person is about to arrive, try your best, the thread of Tianyuan Dan is broken, and the spiritual formation is swallowed up." The cracks, bang, closed and the night sky was dead silent, leaving only the buzzing sound of thunder. The heartbeat was pounding, and the pressure retreated and shadow enveloped the whole place. Tang Tianxian's eyes suddenly opened with a flash of lightning, and he waved the invisible buzz of the immortal realm with his grey robe sleeves to expand and swallow up the remaining power. The golden shield healed itself and shone brightly, and the disciples' meridians buzzed and established a solid foundation. They were thunderous with ecstasy, the immortal protector of the immortal realm. The aftermath of the transformation of the gods is shattered, and the spiritual formation is immortal. His mind was spinning. Lived in seclusion for thousands of years and read all the conspiracies. The leader of the Transformation God Alliance is not here in person but just watching, intending to test the clues of Tianyuan Dan. The ancient ruins of the campus spiritual formation are the key. With a contemptuous smile, the fairy voice spread throughout the campus, "Disciples of the Tianyin sect, listen to the order. What are you afraid of when you are in trouble with the Transformation God?" King Zhang surrendered and took all the resources. Lin Fan took charge of the intelligence network to explore the hidden world. Lin Fan, Mu Xue, and Bai Ning expanded with me, annexing the surrounding Li Zhao remnants, and the foundation-building army dominated Jiangqing overnight. The disciples opened their eyes wide and roared in admiration, "The immortal master has calculated it. The transformation god test has turned into an opportunity for me, Tianyin." Mu Xue's pretty face was flushed and she was wearing a windbreaker. She kneaded the secrets with her jade fingers and summoned the Chamber of Commerce. Her voice was soft and firm and trembling, "Master's decree, Mu's flying boat in black is dispatched to intercept the remaining mineral veins of Li and Zhao. The business war network expands and swallows up resources." The white condensed purine blue light skyrocketed and the spiritual patterns on her long skirt flowed, and the blood on Xue's legs flowed. The scars healed and the delicate body became agile. "My benefactor, under the guidance of Master Tang Tian, the purine ice formation led thousands of people to slaughter the remnant party." Lin Fan got up and kowtowed in his blood-stained suit. The strong man in his old army wiped away the nosebleed and roared, "Master's appearance." The intelligence hall expanded the network, sneaked into the surrounding families of Li Zhao, and exposed the weaknesses and civil strife. Disintegrate. Zhang Tianba Wang Wushuang's withered face was pale, and his nascent spiritual pressure was surrendered and trembling. "Immortal Lord, give all the resources and mineral veins of King Zhang to help annexation." Tang Tian stepped into the air with his cloth shoes behind his hands, and the 100,000 tons of storage ring spirit stone buzzed into the formation eye. The red and blue formation pillars roared loudly, the spiritual formation upgraded with golden light swallowing the sky, the spiritual energy of the campus lake surged, the water vapor transpired, and the fragrance of the spirit hit the nostrils, the meridians of the whole school expanded and built the foundation, and the peak buzzed. The core of the spiritual formation is sublimated. The immortal Lord melts the spiritual stone like mud, so why fear the residual power of the god? In the darkness of night, Tang Tian led 3 people to fly out of the campus in the wind. The golden light shone through the body and the whistles sounded in the air. The lights of Jiangqing were like ants. The Li family's rudder was left at the first stop. The strong man in black robe guarded the mine vein. The piles of spiritual stones clinked together like a mountain. They landed on the ground in grey robes to hunt, and the strong men in grey robes became alert and roared, "Tianyin grey robes. The ancestor of the Li family is dead. The foundation-building insects are surrounding the mine veins, die." The sword light came like a buzzing locust, and the Mushue jade swords came out in unison. The arrow tornado popped and frozen hundreds of people, shattering into a shower of flesh and blood, their snowy muscles flushed and gasping, "My benefactor, Purine slaughtered the remnant party like a dog." Lin Fan ghostly rushed into the inner hall, whispering intelligence. "The head of the Li family is possessed by a demon in the early stage of the golden elixir, and the news of the death of the ancestor of the Li family is disturbing." Tang Tianxian's eyes were cold with electricity, and the psychological game was instantaneous. The Li family was weak, and it was swallowed without harm by the leader of the alliance, leaving alive to expose clues to the hidden world. The grey-robed sleeve waved the immortal realm and exploded with a buzzing sound. The leader of the Jindan family was bleeding and knelt down with his thin face twisted and bulging pupils. "Grey-robed immortal lord. The Li family surrenders, all the mineral veins are mine." The strong men's legs were weak and nosebleeds sprayed out and their eyes widened. With one sleeve of immortal realm shattered Jindan's spiritual pressure, "We ants." Tianyin sect swallowed up the Li family. Then the Zhao family split the helm, and the iron tower guard's axe struck with a flash of light. Lin Fan was the first to report, "Zhao Wuji's uncle is dead, and the master's axe spirit is weak." Wang Wushuang resonated with the axe spirit from afar, and the iron-robed hunter roared, "The Wang family is loyal to Tianyin, and the Zhao family's axe is broken." The head of the Zhao family's iron axe hit the ground with frozen sweat and blood, his throat clucked, "Impossible." Tianyin Grey Robe joins forces with King Zhang, the Zhao family is dead. Tang Tianxian pointed out, the black hole of the Tianyin immortal sword loomed between his eyebrows, and his mind turned. The leader of the alliance conspired to fight for resources in the hidden world. The Tianyuan pill may be in the ancient secret realm, and the Zhao family can dig clues. The head of the family knelt down with blood in his blood, "Pledge allegiance to the Zhao family." The surrounding families heard the news and their legs weakened, and tens of thousands of casual cultivators knelt down and kowtowed. "The immortal Lord Tianyin is invincible, and Jiangqing dominates." Returning to the campus, Tang Tian sat cross-legged in the center of the formation, and the storage Jia Tianyuan breaking heaven pill and the blood spirit pill 20 buzzed, flew out of the pill fire and burned the sky. The golden mist filled the air, the sulfur spiritual fragrance was tangy and the heat wave was steaming. The disciples swallowing pill meridians, boomed, expanded and the spiritual brilliance burst straight into the gate of the golden pill. The boy's skin flashed with golden lines and shouted, "The immortal master's magical skill in refining pills. The foundation of the blood spirit pill is complete, the golden pill is in its prototype, and the Tianyin Legion is invincible." The girl's beautiful eyes were full of sweat and admiration. "The Tianyin immortal technique enters the soul, the master's grey robe is divine." The spiritual array upgraded the core of the sect, the red and blue pillars, the dragon's chanting golden shield swallowed the sky and expanded for hundreds of miles, and the spiritual energy of the river city surged, and the spiritual roots of the trees awakened and the leaves fell like rain. Just as they were taking inventory, and all the surrounding annexation resources were exhausted, Lin Fan from the intelligence hall reported, "Master. The hidden immortal cultivator alliance sent the envoy Sanyuanying, disguised as a casual cultivator, to test the spiritual formation." The intelligence revealed the alliance leader's ambition to swallow the Tianyuan Dan, and the clues from the ancient secret realm point to the hidden world realm. The sound fell, and 3 bloody lights in the distance tore through the night sky, hissing like a falling star. The nascent soul's spiritual pressure burned the sky, and the heat wave hit the nostrils with blood. The leader, the middle-aged man in black robe, smiled ferociously with a withered face, "Messenger of the immortal cultivation alliance." Grey-robed pseudo-immortal, Tianyin Xiaozong swallowed up King Zhang's resources. The alliance leader ordered, "Test the spiritual formation, and offer clues to the heavenly Yuan Dan." The 2 envoys' iron-robed giant axes flashed, and the 3 of them joined forces to smash the golden shield with their blood palm axes. A loud crack spread, and the disciples' legs were weak and they screamed, "The alliance envoy nascent soul has joined forces, and our golden shield is still broken. The embryonic form of the elixir is weak." Mu Bai Ning struggled side by side with the jade sword and ice array, her pretty face turned pale. "Master, the messenger is testing, the alliance leader is plotting." Zhang Tianbong Wushuang's withered face was trembling. The alliance leader personally sent us, nascent soul surrenders. Grey robe holds on. Tang Tian, in grey robe, put his hands behind his hands and sneered with his fairy eyes. His mind was like lightning. The messenger was testing Fei Sheng. The leader of the alliance had a backup plan to destroy him, expose his conspiracy, and force him to show up. The cloth shoes stepped on the formation's eyes, the immortal realm buzzed, and the blood-swallowing palm axe light exploded, the golden shield reversed and the dragon chanted on top. The three messengers' spiritual pressure shattered like glass, crack. The middle-aged man in black robe had a withered face and turned pale, his pupils bulged and his throat clucked. This, the immortal realm swallows nascent soul. Grey robe, are you pretending to be a god? The iron-robed messenger hit the ground with frozen sweat and blood. Impossible. The source of financing for the spiritual formation is like mud, the real work of the hidden world immortal lord. Point, the three rays of the black hole of the Tianyin immortal sword tore through the sky and hissed to force their souls. Two of the three souls were scattered and one fled. The escapee sprayed blood and roared, Alliance leader. The Tianyin grey robe immortal realm crushes the Yuanying, the spiritual formation swallows the sky, and the ancient secret realm Tianyuan Dan cannot be defended. The conspiracy of the immortal cultivation alliance was exposed. The disciples were wide-eyed and excited. The immortal master destroyed the envoy with one finger. The alliance's conspiracy is defeated, and Jiangqing is invincible. Mu Bai Ning's pretty face admired the flow of spiritual energy. Master's divine power turned the test into a joke. Just as he was about to take stock, a dark crack suddenly appeared in the distance and hissed open. The pressure of the transformed god was like the sky collapsing and the earth was sinking. A pair of golden eyes peeped in the blood cloud, scanning Tang Tian's grey robe coldly and ruthlessly. A voice was transmitted like thousands of ghosts howling together, the hidden immortal lord is back. The Tianyuan elixir thread is broken, the campus spiritual formation is small, and the leader of the cultivating immortal alliance comes in person to swallow everything. The spiritual shield hums and shakes, the golden light dims. Is the crisis coming again? The night sky tore with hiss, the golden light shot into the sky like thousands of swords. The prototypes of Tianyin sect's tens of thousands of foundation-building peak golden elixirs roared to the sky. The spiritual array of red and blue pillars exploded with dragon chants. The campus lake spiritual energy surged, steam evaporated, and the scent of sulfur scented the nostrils. The spiritual roots of trees awakened, and the leaves fell like golden rain, rustling. Tang Tian's grey robe held his cloth shoes behind his hands and stepped into the air. His immortal eyes swept the direction of the hidden world. The grey robe hunted without wind and drummed. The immortal realm buzzed and swallowed up the night wind of Jiangqing. The disciples' beautiful eyes bulged and screamed in ecstasy. The immortal lord leads the army. Kill the alliance. The hidden world Tianyuan pill has been absorbed, and Tianyin dominates the immortal cultivation world. Mu Shui's windbreaker hunting jade sword buzzed, her pretty face flushed and her shoulder injury healed, and she whispered firmly, Master, Mu's Chamber of Commerce Feizhou black clothes has blocked the hidden world trade route, the elixir veins are cut off, and the alliance leader's resources are exhausted. The purine blue light bulged in Bai Ning's long skirt, and the snowy legs and ice arrows gathered together to tremble. Benefactor, the purine ice formation will follow the army and slaughter the remaining party in a rain of flesh and blood. Fan wiped away the blood stains on his suit and before the ghost ran away, the jade slip of information snapped and transmitted the message, Master, there are 3 alliances in the hidden world. Hundreds of nascent souls with dozens of golden elixirs are guarding the secret realm. The leader of the alliance is sitting here in the form of a god to test the strength of our army. The wind swept out of the river city and the lights shrank like ants. The mountains in the hidden world were shrouded in black mist. The blood river of Gulu was shrouded in black mist. In the late nascent soul stage, the black-robed ancestor Ku pointed at the empty blood palm and exploded with a heat wave that burned the sky. Tianyin grey-robed pseudo-immortal. Jiangqing Xiaozong swallowed the Li Zhao Zhang Wang mineral vein. the Alliance leader's golden eyes are watching, you foundation-building bugs dare to invade the hidden world. The secret realm Tianyuan Dan cannot be defended, and the army will be wiped out with one palm. The disciples' meridians buzzed, the prototype of the golden elixir trembled, their legs were weak, their noses were bleeding, and the blood mist filled the air. The boy's skin burned red with golden lines, swollen and cracked, and howled in pain. Nascent soul joins forces with the blood river to burn the sky. Our golden elixir is as rudimentary as paper, the immortal lord can't hold on. The girl hugged the ball with fragrant sweat and blood mixed with goosebumps on her snow-covered muscles, and screamed in despair. 3 sects in the hidden world are iron walls, the gods' clones press on top, the snow-white jade sword and the ice formation are shattered like ice slag, the end of the sky is hidden. Mushue's jade sword guard was dimmed and her face turned pale, her beautiful eyes reflected the blood river. Master, although the elixir is broken by the Shangzhan network, the nascent soul blood palm swallows the black clothes of the flying boat, The purine ice wall of Bai Ning shattered with a click, and the blood marks on the legs were red and trembling. My dear friend, the purine spirit body is unable to reverse, the axe soul guarding the entrance to the secret realm, the dream of slaughtering the sect is broken. Zhang Tianba Wang Wushuang has a withered face, a steely face, a pale nascent soul spirit, crushed to pieces, kneeling in the air, blood palms trembling, his throat trembling, copycat of the alliance leader. King Zhang has surrendered and dedicated all his resources to no avail, the grey-robed immortal lord, turned into a god to test and turned into massacre. The strong man from Lin Fan's old team hugged a group with nosebleeds, bloody noses and weak legs, and whispered, the intelligence was misjudged. There are more than 10 nascent souls in the 3 sect alliances. The clues to the Tianyuan Dan in the secret realm are broken. The master's divine appearance is difficult to defeat. Shisan Xiu looked from afar with a grey face and roared tauntingly, Tianin Xiaozong's night attack. The foundation-building army hit the iron plate, the grey-robed youthful face was fake, and the leader's golden eyes were wiped out in a glance. The river of blood, rumbling, swallowed the armies forward, thousands of meridians burned and wailed, bloodshot eyes and ears sprayed the fishy stench, sword-like locusts tore the golden light body protection, pop, rain of flesh and blood poured down, and the black tide of despair overwhelmed the entire army. Tang Tianxian's eyes suddenly opened and burst with lightning, he waved his grey-robed sleeves and the invisible immortal realm, buzzed, surged and swallowed up the heat wave of the blood river, and the trump card of the 1,000-year seclusion was revealed. The Tianin immortal sword, buzzed, flew out of the black hole and tore into the sky, hissing, like 10,000 dragons swallowing together. Grey robe, you are hiding the peak form of Yuanying. The alliance leader's golden eyes misjudged, and the Tianin immortal sword's black hole ate the soul. The iron tower Yuanying's giant axe smashed into pieces and hit the ground with sweat and blood, and tears spewed from the nose, impossible. The late stage of our Yuanying is like an ant, and the entrance to the secret realm is shattered. Tianin slaughtered the sect with wide eyes. The beautiful eyes bulged and screamed, the trump card of the immortal realm is revealed. The immortal realm crushes the Yuanying together, the black hole sword light swallows the blood river, and the 3 hidden sects are dead. Tang Tianbu stepped on the empty mind and thought, the storage ring Tianyuan breaking the sky pill, buzz, flew into the entrance, the spiritual energy exploded, the meridians, boom, expanded and touched the God's gate. Ears. The immortal fingers clicked together, and the Tianyuan Dan force spurred the immortal realm to explode with golden mist filling the nostrils with sulfur scent and steaming heat. The black hole sword energy hissed and tore through the mountains. The 3 sects' 1,000 gold pills foundation building souls scattered the blood mist and exploded. Dozens of nascent souls twisted their withered faces and knelt in the air. They shattered like glass, and the smelly blood rain poured down and the sound of cracking bones resounded through the night sky. The white condensed purine and blue light gather in the long skirt, the bulging snow muscles are flowing, her delicate body trembles, the meridians, bang, the prototype of the golden elixir solidifies and breaks through the early stage of the golden elixir, the ice formation tornado surges, click, the frozen 100 yuan baby's residual limbs are broken into pieces, and blood and flesh reign, and the flushed face is worshipped. Roaring, my benefactor is protected by the power of Tianyuan elixir, and the pure Yin spirit body is golden elixir. The ice array slaughters 3 sects like dogs, and the master's divine power will be loyal forever. Mu Shui's jade swords came out to hunt in windbreakers. Hissing, blood mist sprayed, and a strong man in black from the Chamber of Commerce's flying boat descended from the sky to intercept it. At the back of the secret realm, she sent a message on the jade slip with a pretty face and a cold expression. Mu's commercial war network is under overall control, the 3 sects elixir mines are exhausted, the alliance leaders' resources are exhausted, and the hidden trade route Tianyin dominates. Lin Fan ghostly scurried into the inner hall of the 3 sects, hunting in a suit and whispering information. Master, the remnant party's golden elixir is hidden in a secret place. The strong men of the old army broke up the civil strife. The blood contract exposed the alliance leaders' conspiracy to cultivate the immortal world. The strong men wiped away the nosebleeds and roared with wide eyes, Hall Master Lin is so fast. The intelligence network annihilated the remnant party, Tianyin's intelligence is invincible. Tang Tian broke into the entrance of the secret realm alone, with his grey robe behind his back, the immortal realm pressed down on the golden shield to swallow the sky. The alliance leader's avatar, transformed into a god, appeared with cold lightning eyes and appeared in the black mist. The smell of decaying corpses exploded in the black mist. The clone with a withered face smiled ferociously and sent thousands of ghosts howling, grey-robed immortal lord. The Tianyuan pill itself swallows up and ascends. You deceive the Yuanying with your little tricks, and the god clone destroys the sect with a single thought. The disciples watched from a distance, their legs weakened and screamed in despair, the clone of the leader is here in person. The golden eyes swallow the immortal realm, and our golden elixir becomes ashes. The leader of the Zhang Tianba Wang Wushuang Li Zhao family knelt down bleeding with a withered face and an iron face, pupils bulging, transformation god the clone pressed down on the top, the old injury of the immortal lord has not healed. Tianyin died. Tang Tian smiled contemptuously, the black hole of the fairy sword on the ground exploded with a hiss and tore the blood palm of the clone. There was deathly silence in the whole place, and the disciples' beautiful eyes bulged and roared in admiration. The immortal Lord Tiandao swears to destroy the clone of the transformation god. The black hole sword gnaws the golden eyes, the secret realm is completely absorbed, Tianyin is invincible. Thousands of people in the hidden world have pale faces and weak legs, and they kowtow, the leader is dead, Tianyin slaughters 3 sects, and the world of immortality surrenders. Boom swept across the hidden mountains, dust flew, the blood river dried up and the stench remained, resource veins and spiritual stones, millions of tons of ding-dong, collided with all the storage rings, 10 pieces of Tianyuan Dan were wrapped in golden mist, and the scent of sulfur was overflowing. Tang Tian's grey-robed hunting fairy eyes looked down, and the sound of fairy spread throughout the world of immortality, Tianyin's only. The urban immortal circle in Jiangqing has returned to this deity. In the past, the snobbish Zhang Wang Lin Fan and Li Zhao knelt down and swore allegiance to the resources. The contrast is as dust. In the past, the snobbish Zhang Tianba's withered face was twisted and he knelt down with blood and kowtowed with blood. His throat trembled, the immortal deity used to despise the Zhang family's mineral veins, but now he is dedicated to the gods. His body was shaken like chaff and his nose was bleeding, the Wang family's axe soul shattered into pieces and surrendered, and it turned into a sharp sword in the sky. Lin Fan's suit was stained with blood, and he knelt down and yelled, the master's intelligence conspiracy in the past, now the leader of the alliance is exposed, his position is unparalleled. The leader of the Zhao family was bleeding and his pupils were bulging, the head of the remnant party is kneeling in the immortal realm, the contrast is like an ant. The entire immortal cultivation world was shocked. Thousands of casual cultivators knelt down and kowtowed in the blood mist, roaring in the blood mist, Tianyin immortal lord dominates. In the urban immortal cultivation circle, Tianyin is the only one, and the conspiracy of the alliance leader is wiped out. After returning from campus, the spiritual array was upgraded with red and blue pillars, dragon chants and golden shields that swallowed the sky thousands of miles away. The spiritual roots of the trees in Jiangqing awakened, and the leaves fell, and the golden rain evaporated. The crowd knelt down and paid homage, thunderous as the sky shook, and their beautiful eyes worshipped with ecstasy. The immortal master fully activated his magical powers, and one man slaughtered 3 sects to destroy the avatar clones, established the complete Tianyin sect, and the urban immortal cultivator will surrender forever. Mu Shua Bai Ning stood side by side with her pretty face flushed and the spiritual radiance flowing, her jade hands clasped together. Master and benefactor, I will serve you with all the pure intelligence in the business war, and I will follow you forever. Lin Fan kowtowed to his old subordinates and shouted in unison, the information hall has expanded to the whole world, and the master is invincible. Tang Tian's immortal eyes looked down at the grey-robed hunter, and his fairy voice sounded like thunder, the Tianyin sect's legion obeys the order. Information has exposed the hidden world, the Alliance leader's secret realm swallows up resources, I lead the crowd to kill the Immortal Cultivation Alliance. The purple thunder in the sky ripped through the night like a wild dragon with a rumbling. The golden shield above the Tianyin sect of Jiangqing University swallowed the sky and trembled for thousands of miles. The red and blue light pillars of the spiritual formation soared into the sky with dragon chants mixed with the scent of sulfur and the lingering stench of blood. The whole sect sat cross-legged and the meridians boomed to expand and expand. The golden elixir reached the top of the spiritual brilliance. Qi's face turned pale, his legs were weak and he knelt down, nosebleeds oozing from his nose, his beautiful eyes reflected in purple thunder, and he screamed in despair, the way of heaven has changed. Purple thunder devours the soul, and the leader of the alliance turns into a god to take revenge with his golden eyes. Our golden elixir has newly formed meridians, and the immortal lord is in seclusion. Tianyin is at an end. Mu Shue's windbreaker hunting jade sword dimmed inch by inch. Her pretty face was flushed and pale, and the old wound on her shoulder was cracked and bloodshot. She protected Bai Ning with trembling hands and whispered, "Senior sister, the information on the Shangjian network has been broken. The remnants of the hidden party nascent soul, scattered cultivators, 10,000 foundation-building troops gathered outside the mountains." The golden eyes projected the blood river to be reborn, and the stench burned into the sky. Our flying boat, black clothes, was swallowed by the blood palm. Eat. Bai Ning's long skirt bulged, the purine blue light reversed, the snow legs were stained with blood, and goosebumps appeared, and the delicate body hugged her knees and trembled. The ice arrow shattered and landed with a click, my benefactor sat cross-legged in the heart immortal realm to protect, the purple thunder crushed the pure spirit body and shattered like ice slag, the remnants of the iron wall counterattacked, and the Tianyin massacre was in vain. Lin Fan's suit was stained with blood, and the ghost came forward. The jade slip of intelligence popped to pieces. The sound transmission was broken. The strong men from the old army hugged each other and yelled, "The intelligence hall is lost." The alliance leader's golden eyes are watching the whole world. The blood contract revealed the conspiracy to backfire on us. The head of Zhang Wang, Li Zhao, with a withered face, knelt down with blood and whispered, "The fake fairy in grey robes is hidden in the sky, transforming into a god and destroying the legion with a single thought, we are like ants dying." Zhang Tianba Wang Wushuang's body shook like chaff, his blood palms trembled, his throat clucked, the alliance leader's revenge. The millions of tons of Zhang family's mind-spirit stone storage ring is useless, the golden elixir is perfect, the foundation-building bug hits the iron plate, and the power of the immortal Lord Tianyuan elixir is touched. The old injury on the edge of the mind has relapsed. The head of the Li Zhao family was bleeding and smashing to the ground, his pupils shrunk and his face was ashen. The remnants of the rogue cultivator alliance are burning in the sky, the intelligence network is disintegrating and Tianyin is in civil strife, the end. The skin of all the disciples of the boys burned red and swollen with pop and cracked in pain. Shouted, purple thunder swallowing gold shield. The snowy jade sword is white and the ice formation is shattered. Lin Fan in the information hall is powerless, and the sect is reduced to ashes. The hidden cultivator watched from a distance and saw thousands of people with livid faces laughing wildly. Tianyi massacred 3 sects at night. The golden eye projection of the leader's body is overwhelming, the illusion of a young immortal in grey robe, and the blood and flesh of the foundation building elixir army is pouring down. Black fog billows outside the mountains. Gulu, the river of blood is reborn, and the stinking smell is like a rotten corpse. The phantom of the alliance leader's true body, the golden eye, hangs high in the thunder clouds. The iron tower's axe flashed, the sword light flashed, and the locusts buzzed into the sky. The leading nascent soul peak black-robed old ghost Ku pointed at the empty blood palm and, pop-pop, exploded with a heat wave that burned the sky and devoured the spiritual formation. The edge of the spiritual formation cracked and twisted inch by inch. Grey-robed Tang Tian. Heaven. Dao swears to destroy the clone's little skill. The golden eyes of my body eat the soul. The remnant veins of the 3 hidden sects take revenge. The 10 spiritual stones of Tianyuan Dan are exhausted, and the golden elixir of your army is like paper burning. The meridians were burned with sulfur, the spiritual roots of the sect's trees withered, and the leaves fell like a rain of blood. Sands flew in the air, the meridians of the disciples buzzed, the prototype of the golden elixir shattered, howled in pain, and the blood mist sprayed and filled the air with a fishy stench. Tang Tian sat cross-legged in the formation, his grey robe behind his hands and cloth shoes, his fairy eyes suddenly open with electric light bursting out. Buzz, the power of the Heavenly Dao oath, his trump card for thousands of years, gathered into the soul-bound golden light and soared into the sky like 10,000 swords swallowing together. Ding-dong, 1,000,000 tons of storage ring spirit stones collided with the Tianyuan pill. 10 golden mists shrouded the sulfur spiritual incense. The fairyland, Buzz, exploded, swallowing up the purple thunder, heat wave, black hole light, tearing into the sky, hissing, the blood-devouring river was rotten. The golden light of the oath locked onto the remnants of the party and the souls of 10,000 people, clucked and shattered. The nascent soul old ghost's withered face bulged, his pupils shrank, and his throat roared. This, the body of the oath of heaven is projected and soul-bound? Grey robe, you are hiding in disguise as a god. The 3 sects' resource veins are useless, and the golden eyes are soul-eating. Eat. The iron tower nascent soul's giant axe smashed into the air and shattered. It hit the ground with sweat and blood. Old tears sprayed across the blood river. Impossible. The golden light of the oath swallowed the blood river, and our nascent soul's peak was like an ant's broken soul. The leader's body was furious and slaughtered the world. His big eyes thundered with ecstasy, and his beautiful eyes bulged and screamed, the immortal lords have sworn to gather. The immortal realm crushes the remaining infants, the black hole devours the golden eye projection, and the blood river dries up in the hidden world. The sky is invincible. Tang Tian's cloth shoes stepped on the empty mind and thought, and the immortal fingers connected with the Tianyuan Dan to activate the red and blue pillars of the spiritual formation. Boom, long, the dragon's roar golden shield swallowed the sky thousands of miles and exploded. Spiritual energy surged with the fragrance of another world, the heat wave steamed, the blood river squeaked and steamed dry, and the sound of broken bones resounded. White condensed purine and blue light gathered in the long skirt, the bulging snow muscles were flowing, her delicate body trembled. The meridians, bang, the golden elixir successfully broke through the middle stage of the golden elixir, the ice formation tornado surged, click, the frozen 100 yuan infant stumps were broken into pieces, and a rain of blood and flesh poured down. Her flushed and pretty face was worshipping and roaring, and she was close to the edge of Tang Tian's grey robe and caressed it with her jade hands. My benefactor has sworn to protect me, the golden elixir of the pure Een spirit body is perfect. The ice array slaughters the remnants of the party like a dog, and the master's divine power will always be with me. Mu Shui's jade swords came out of the windbreaker to hunt, hissing, blood mist sprayed on her pretty face, cold and proud, and she held her white jade hands side by side, communicating with the jade slips and blending their spiritual energy. Senior sister, join forces. Mu the Shishang War network blocked the remaining party's back path and collected all the elixir veins. Tianyin dominates the whole world. The beautiful eyes of the two women reflected Tang Tianxian's pretty face, their faces flushed with emotion. The fragrant wind lingered on their snowy skin and they whispered close to the grey robe, "Master, my benefactor, I will follow you forever." Lin Fan, a ghost, scurried into the inner hall of the remaining party to hunt for love. The strong men in the newspaper whispered and wiped off the nosebleeds and roared, "Master swears to destroy the projection." The intelligence hall expands to the whole world to break up the civil strife, the blood contract exposes the conspiracy of the alliance leader, and the remaining party kneels down. The strong men stared with wide eyes and bulging pupils, and kowtowed, "Deacon Lin is so fast. Tianin's intelligence is invincible, and the sect's deacon will always be in control." The voice of Tang Tian's grey-robed hunting immortal spread like thunder throughout the entire cultivating world. The oaths of heaven have gathered, and the remnants of the hidden party knelt down and swore allegiance to all resources. The contrast is like dust. I am amnesty and recruit, strengthen the Tianyin sect. Thousands of remnants of the remnant party looked pale and knocked on their legs. He roared in the blood mist, "Immortal Lord, spare your life. The Alliance leader's golden eye projection soul is bound to fly away, our nascent soul foundation soul is flying and surrendering, and the mineral vein spirit stone Tianyuan Dan has been absorbed." Zhang Tianba's withered face was twisted and he knelt down with blood, his throat was trembling and his nose was bleeding. The Zhang family mind used to be snobbish, but now they have pledged their allegiance to help slaughter the remnants of the party. The contrast is so sharp. Wang Wushuang's iron tower body shook the chaff and smashed it to the ground, the Wang family's axe soul shattered into pieces and surrendered, and all the resources were given to the hidden blade of the sky. The leader of the Li Zhao family roared with blood bulging in his eyes. The head of the family kneels down in the immortal realm, the contrast is like that of ants who will be loyal forever. The entire immortal cultivation world was shocked, and all the scattered cultivators who built the Golden Pill Foundation knelt down and kowtowed, "The Tianyin Immortal Lord is pardoned." Tianyin is the only one in the urban immortal cultivation circle, and the conspiracy of the leader's body has been exposed, and the whole world has surrendered. The spiritual energy of the spiritual array reached its peak, the red and blue pillars, the dragon's roar, and the golden shield swallowed the sky thousands of miles away. The spiritual roots of the trees in Jiangqing awakened, and the golden rain fell. The golden rain, sands, flew, and the spiritual fragrance steamed and smelled of blood. The sect swallowed the blood and the spiritual elixir. The meridians boomed and expanded the golden elixir peak. The peak's spiritual light soared into the sky, Tang Tian integrated resources and spiritual stones piled up millions of tons of mountains, ding-dong, and collided with the Tianyuan Dan. The golden mist filled the nostrils with the scent of sulfur, and the immortal protector sect's immortal grey robe sat cross-legged in cloth shoes with hands behind its hands in retreat, impacting the edge of ascension. The disciples worshipped with beautiful eyes and knelt down in ecstasy and worshipped thunderously. The immortal master consolidates resources. Vow to amnesty to the remnants of the Tianyin super sect, the Jindan Peak Legion is invincible, and the urban cultivators will surrender forever. Mu Shua Bai Ning stood side by side with a pretty face flushed. Brilliance flowed, and he clasped his hands together and pressed them against the edge of his grey robe. "Master, benefactor, I will serve you with all my pure intelligence in the business war, and my emotions will always be with you forever." Lin Fan kowtowed to his old subordinates and shouted in unison, "Intelligence stewards have expanded throughout the world, and my master's appearance is invincible." Mu Shue's jade sword buzzed as she protected the formation in her windbreaker hunting. Her pretty face turned crimson and she lowered her head and whispered to Bai Ning, "Senior sister, my benefactor's fairy figure in grey robes touches the edge of the god's ascension. Our first disciples, Pure Een, work together to guard the sect, and their emotions are like a blend of spiritual energy." Bai Ningshue's legs are smart, her long skirt is bulging, blue light ice arrows are gathering, her flushed body is leaning against Mushue's fragrant shoulders, and her beautiful eyes are mist. "Senior sister, my benefactor is protected by the ice formation, and the golden elixir is there. The emotions of the master are rising, and we will follow you forever." The two girls held each other's hands and the fragrance was flowing, and the disciples screamed in admiration. Senior sister Mu Shua Bai Ning's emotions are rising. Together, the sect will be strong. Lin Fan hunted in a suit and became a ghost deacon of the sect to patrol the intelligence network, and the strong man from the old department shouted with wide eyes, Deacon Lin controls the whole world. The intelligence is perfect. Tang Tian retreated in the formation, his heart fairy eyes slightly closed, and his meridians boomed with the power of Tian Yuan Dan impacting the gate of transformation. Old wounds were healed, spiritual energy exploded, and golden mist filled the air. He sat cross-legged in grey robes and hunting cloth shoes in the immortal realm and swallowed the whole sect of the sky. Suddenly, the heavenly calamity gathered in the sky and boomed, black clouds rolled like ink, purple thunder and golden light intertwined with each other. The thunder was deafening, heat waves mixed with the fragrance of other worlds and sulfur burning in the air hit the nostrils, and the whole city of the immortal world gathered outside the mountains. Thousands of people knelt down to watch the golden core nascent soul, their faces ashen and beautiful eyes bulging as they roared, the immortal Lord retreats and ascends to heaven, and the calamity is coming. At the peak of the golden barrier devouring the sky, can you succeed in overcoming the calamity? Transform into a god and fly to the sky to hide the Yongzuan, or will the calamity thunder devour the soul of the whole world? Overturned. Prince Zhongli Zhao kowtowed with a twisted face. In the past, I surrendered, but now I am watching the immortal Lord survive the tribulation. Can his divine posture break the void? Mu Bai Ning's pretty face turned pale and flushed, and she hugged the jade sword and ice formation to protect her. Screaming, Master's benefactor, save the tribulation. We will watch forever. Lin Fan's intelligence slips buzzed and stared, the hook of the tribulation. Is the Master invincible? The whole place was dead silent with thunder clouds overhead, and the success or failure of the tribulation was hanging by a thread. The black clouds in the sky rolled like ink dragons, the boom thunder was deafening, the purple-gold tribulation thunder as thick as a child's arm, cracked, tore through the night, mixed with scorched earth, sulfur, burning the sky, and a heat wave hit the nostrils. Jiangqing University's Tianyin sect's golden shield swallowed the sky for thousands of miles, trembling and buzzing, the red and blue spiritual pillars twisted, and the surge of spiritual energy was mixed with the residual stench of blood and the fragrance of the other world. All the golden elixirs in the whole sect were sitting cross-legged at the peak, their meridians were bulging with spiritual brilliance, but their faces were all pale, their legs were weak and they were kneeling with nosebleeds oozing out from their noses. Their beautiful eyes reflected the calamity clouds and they screamed in despair, the calamity is overwhelming. The immortal Lord is in retreat and is hunting in grey robes. Between the lines of the gate of transformation, black clouds are swallowing gold. The meridians at the peak of our golden elixir are burning and our souls are flying away. The golden eyes of the alliance leader are watching the doomsday. Zhang Tianba's iron tower body shook like chaff. His withered face was twisted, he knelt down and screamed with blood, his throat clucking. In the past, the mines were all surrendered, but now the thunder and soul-devouring Zhang family's resources are useless, and the immortal master has lost the tribulation. The sky is gone. Wang Wushuang's giant axe hit the ground with sweat and blood, and he burst into tears. The soul of the Wang family's axe is shattered, and the allegiance is powerless, and the black clouds are crushing the nascent soul like ants in the late stage. The main leader of the Li Zhao family, with blood-shrunk pupils and a skinny face, hugged and shouted, "Home." The master knelt down in the immortal realm. Today, the calamity cloud burns millions of tons of meridians and spirit stones and turns them into scrap metal. Tens of thousands of Yuan Yings from the remnant party in the hidden world knelt down with their heads in their hands, their faces turned pale and trembling, and they whispered, the resources that have been sworn to be loyal are exhausted, and the leader of the calamity hook is taking revenge, our souls are bound to fly away. Mushua's windbreaker hunting jade sword buzzed, her pretty face was flushed and white, her shoulders were old and bloodshot was seeping through her clothes. Her jade hands trembled to protect Bai Ning and whispered, "Senior sister, the business war network intelligence broke. The golden eye projection in the calamity cloud loomed and the smelly river of blood was reborn. The hidden cultivator alliance took advantage of the chaos to gather outside the mountains. Our flying boat, black clothes, was swallowed by the lightning arc. Bai Ning's long skirt was bulging, the swollen purine blue light reversed and was weak, the snow legs were stained with goosebumps, and the delicate body hugged the knees and trembled. The ice arrow shattered and fell to the ground with a click, and screamed. My benefactor sat cross-legged in the heart to protect me from the immortal realm. The purine spirit body was shattered like ice slag by the purple-gold tribulation thunder. In the middle stage of the golden elixir, the burning pain of the sky was hidden, and the slaughter of the sect was in vain. Lin Fan's suit was stained with blood, and a ghost ran forward. The intelligence jade slip popped to pieces. The strong man from the old army roared and taunted, the intelligence hall has been lost. The clouds of robbery reveal a 1,000-year secret, Tang Tian gray robe pretending to be a hermit immortal. The alliance leader's golden eyes and blood book contract reveal the conspiracy, we swear to death with soul binding. All the disciples of the sect, the skin of the boys burned red with golden lines, swollen, cracked and howled in pain, and the girls' fragrant sweat and blood mist mixed with the snow. Their muscles were in knots and they screamed, thunder and thunder swallowing golden barrier. The white ice formation of Mu Shui's jade sword is shattered, Lin Fan's intelligence is powerless, and the sect is reduced to ashes. Black fog billows outside the mountain range. Gulu, the hidden cultivator, thousands of people with livid faces, laugh wildly, heavenly hidden overcome the tribulation. The leader of the alliance, Golden Eyes, takes advantage of the chaos to counterattack, the young immortal in grey robe pretends to be, and the golden elixir army rains blood and blood. The golden-eyed phantom suddenly exploded in the calamity cloud. The decaying spiritual pressure was like a mountain overturned for thousands of miles. Thousands of years of secrets were revealed. The blood book projection flashed and smelled in the sky, Tang Tian. Thousands of years of seclusion and disguise. The body of my God-forming body knows that you have stolen the secret realm of Tianyuan Dan. I swear to bite the projection with small skills. This calamity thunder assists the blood river to regenerate. The three sects, the remaining veins of revenge or veins and spiritual stones are all taken away. The blood river, rumbling, hit the golden shield, the heat wave mixed with sulfur and burned the meridians. The spiritual roots of the sect's trees withered and fallen leaves were flying like a rain of blood. The disciples' meridians hummed and the prototypes of the golden elixir shattered and howled in pain. The blood mist sprayed and the stench filled the air. The whole place was filled with a black tide of despair, and their souls were scattered. Mu Shuibai hugged the group with a pretty face and held hands with white jade and screamed, "Master, my benefactor. The 1,000-year-old secret of the golden eyes of tribulation cloud has been exposed, and the river of blood has counterattacked, destroying our purine business war intelligence." Lin Fan's eyes widened, his pupils protruding, his throat trembling, intelligence hook. The leader of the alliance takes advantage of the robbery to take revenge, and Tianin's internal strife is over. Tang Tian sat in the cross-legged position, his grey robe behind his hands and his cloth shoes, his fairy eyes widened with electric light. The golden light of the 1,000 years of seclusion, the oath of heaven, gathered together to bind the soul and soared into the sky like 10,000 swords swallowing together. The 1,000,000 tons of storage ring spirit stones, ding-dong, collided with the Tianyuan pill. 10 golden mists swirled around and the sulfur spiritual incense surged. The fairyland, exploded and swallowed up the purple and gold tribulation. The thunder and heat wave, the black hole light tore through the sky, hissing, the blood-devouring river was rotten. The golden light of the oath locked onto the calamity cloud and the golden eye projection, clucked and shattered. The phantom of the alliance leader's withered face bulged, pupils shrank, and the throat roared, "This! I am taking advantage of the power of the calamity, grey robe, you swallow it back. The 1,000-year-old secret Tianyuan Dan's secret realm belongs to me, the 3 resource veins are useless, the golden eyes are soul-eating and shattered. The entire sect's eyes widened with ecstasy and thunder, and their beautiful eyes bulged and screamed, "The immortal lord has vowed to gather in the fairyland." The black hole swallows the golden eyes of thunder, and the blood river dries up and the sky is invincible. Tang Tianbu's mind turned with lightning, and the immortal fingers connected with the Tianyuan Dan to activate the red and blue pillars of the spiritual formation. Boom, the golden shield swallowed the sky and exploded. The spiritual energy surges with the fragrance of another world, the heat wave evaporates, the tribulation thunder evaporates with the pop, the thunder arc shatters and the click resounds, the black cloud collapses with the bang, and the bone shatters with the crack, the golden light pours down and the sulfur spiritual fragrance hits the nostrils. White condensed purine blue light gathered in the long skirt, bulging snow muscles, and the spiritual light flowed, her delicate body trembled, her meridians, bang, the golden elixir broke through the ice formation in the later stage, the tornado surged, click, the frozen calamity cloud was remnant, thunder and blood mist poured down, her flushed face was adoring and she roared. She leaned close to the edge of Tang Tian's gray robe and caressed her jade hands gently, oath of grace. With the power of swallowing the calamity, the pure Een spirit body is in the later stage of the golden elixir. The ice array slaughters the thunder like a dog, and the master's divine power will be with him forever. Mushue's jade swords came out to hunt, his thunder arc sprayed, her pretty face flushed coldly and proudly, and she held her white jade hands side by side to convey the jade slip spiritual energy. Sisters, work together to protect. The Mu clan's commercial war network blocked the back roads of the mountains to collect all the pill veins, and Tianyin dominated the tribulation. The beautiful eyes of the two women reflected Tang Tian's pretty face, their faces flushed with emotions like fire. The fragrant wind lingered on their snowy skin, and they whispered close to the grey robe, "Master, my benefactor, I will follow you forever." Lin Fan ghostly rushed in. The sect formation's hunting commander, the strong man in the suit, wiped off the nosebleeds and roared, "The master is invincible in swallowing the robbery." The expanded formation of the intelligence hull swallows the sky with a golden shield, and the remaining cultivators kneel down. The strong men stared with wide eyes and bulging pupils, and kowtowed, "Deacon Lin is so fast." The formation of Tianyin is invincible, and the sect's deacon is in control forever. Outside the mountains, the secluded cultivators took advantage of the chaos to fight back. Thousands of people were building foundation pills. Locusts buzzed into the sky. The leader of the nascent soul cultivators, the black-robed old ghost Ku, pointed at the empty blood palm. "Papa," the heat wave burned into the sky and rushed to the edge of the golden shield. Kara twisted and grinned, "The grey robe is weak through the tribulation." The leader of the alliance, Golden Eyes, takes advantage of the tribulation to take revenge. Our blood river burns. The Tian Yuanying Legion massacred all the mineral veins of the clan. The blood palm heat wave combined with the stench of rotting corpses hit the spiritual formation. Tang Tianxian glanced at the grey robe hunting cloth shoes and moved slightly. The black hole in the immortal realm buzzed and expanded. Thousands of swords came out and hissed, and tore the blood palms and swallowed up the army of casual cultivators. The withered face of the nascent soul ghost was distorted and the blood mist hit his head and shattered his dantian. Bang! The old man fell to the ground with blood spraying from his nose and roared, "Impossible. The immortal lord is on the verge of devouring the power of calamity and transforming into a god. Our nascent soul builds up the foundation like ants and shatters the soul." Thousands of casual cultivators knelt down with their heads in the air and shattered like glass. The smelly blood rain filled their nostrils. The head of Zhang Tianbong Wushuang Li Zhao kowtowed in ecstasy with a withered face. Lei Dong, the immortal lord kills the casual cultivators in an instant and counterattacks. In contrast to the past, he surrendered resources to help in the fight, and his divine power shocked the world. All the immortal cultivators in the urban hidden world gathered outside the mountain range with their eyes wide open and their faces ashen as they roared in submission. The immortal lord Tianyin swallowed up the enemy and destroyed the enemy. The immortal cultivators in the city are the only ones in the Tianyin circle, and the blood rivers of the casual cultivators flew into the river of ashes and the whole world knelt down and swore. The sound of Tang Tian's grey-robed hunter hunting immortal spread like thunder across the entire cultivating world. The power of the catastrophe has been exhausted, and the 1,000-year-old secret alliance leader's golden-eyed conspiracy has been wiped out. I have swallowed the breakthrough and opened the door to become a god, and I have counterattacked like dust. The remnants of the tribulation cloud collapsed with a bang, golden light poured down like rain, and the spiritual energy surged with the fragrance of another world. Falling gold rain, sands, flying, the meridians of the sect swallowed the blood elixir, bang, expanded the golden elixir's later spiritual brilliance soared into the sky, the mountain of Tang Tian storage ring spirit stone, ding-dong, collided with the Tianyuan elixir, the golden mist filled the nostrils with the scent of sulfur. The immortal protector sect's immortal grey robes were sitting cross-legged with cloth shoes behind their hands. The disciples worshipped with beautiful eyes and knelt down in ecstasy and worshipped thunderously. The immortal Lord swallows the calamity and breaks through. The gate of transformation into gods opens the Tianyin super sect, the legions in the late stage of Jin Dan are invincible, and the urban cultivators surrender forever. Mu Shua Bai Ning stood side by side with her pretty face flushed and the spiritual radiance flowing through her jade hands. Putting his hands together and sticking to the edge of his grey robe, he said, "Master, my benefactor, I will protect the purine intelligence of Shangzhan, and I will follow you forever with my emotions." Lin Fan kowtowed to his old subordinates and shouted in unison, "Intelligence Deacon expands the command formation throughout the world, and the Master's invincible appearance kills and counterattacks instantly." The aftermath of the calamity spread calmly, and the spiritual energy surges mixed with the faint scent of blood and sulfur gradually faded away. The spiritual roots of Jiangqing University campus awakened, green light lingered in the night wind, and the sand blew gently. Everyone in the sect stood up to wipe the nosebleeds, and the golden light on their faces flowed through the meridians and whispered in perfection. Worship, the immortal Lord has overcome the aftermath of the calamity, and integrated resources into the millions of tons of Tianyuan Dan golden mist. Our golden elixir is famous in the world of immortal cultivation in the later stage. Zhang Tianba stood firm on the iron tower with a withered face and ecstatically wiped the blood and kowtowed. The Zhang family's mineral veins have been fully absorbed to help the battle, and the contrast is so high that the soul flies to this place. The position is stable and the Tianyin blade is strong. Wang Wushuang regained his strength and wiped away all the sweat and blood, and roared, "The axe soul of the Wang family is loyal, the aftermath of the divine power has reached its peak in the later stage." The mainstream of the Li Zhao family stopped the bleeding, regained its thin face and flushed, and clasped his fists, "The owner of the family is here. The source is gone, and all the treasures and reputations will be gained by overcoming the tribulation." Thousands of the remnant members of the hidden world stood up and kowtowed, their faces turned pale with ecstasy. "Pledge allegiance to the tribulation protector, we will share the foundation of Yuan Ying's resource mine, and the situation will be reversed and dominate." Mu Xue's jade sword was sheathed, her windbreaker was lightly raised, her pretty face turned crimson, she lowered her head and whispered to Bai Ning, "Senior sister, the door for my benefactor's grey-robed immortal appearance to transform into a god has opened. Our first disciple, Purine, will work together to protect the law and the business war network will expand. Emotions are like spiritual energy blending, and the sense of accomplishment is overflowing." By Ningshue's leg spirit the blue light in the long dress is restrained and the flushed body is leaning against the fragrant shoulders of Mushue. The beautiful eyes are misty, "Junior sister, the ice array protector benefactor swallows the calamity." In the later stage of the golden elixir, the emotions are heightened, the status and treasures are all obtained. The master ascends and we will follow him forever. The two women held their jade hands, and the spiritual energy blended and the fragrance filled their nostrils. The disciples screamed in admiration, "Senior sister Mu Shui Bai Ning's emotional achievement." Side by side with Fairy Tianyin, the sect will always be famous. Lin Fan, a strong man in the old department of the Ghost Patrol Intelligence Network, opened his eyes wide and yelled, "Deacon Lin controls the aftermath of the whole world. There is no leakage of information." Tianyin dominates and all resources are collected. The atmosphere of the whole place was soothing and a sense of accomplishment filled the air, and people whispered and the reputation spread throughout the urban immortal circle. Tianyin immortal has overcome the tribulation and swallowed the power of tribulation, opened the door to become a god, and shocked the world. The leader of the Golden Eyes conspiracy has wiped out our status and treasures. Tang Tian was sitting cross-legged in a grey robe with his hands behind his hands and cloth shoes. His eyes were slightly closed, and the cracks in the void were slightly closed. The golden light was booming into the sky, and his meridians were buzzing. The aftermath of Tianyuan Dan's power was soaring, and the old wounds were healed. The spiritual energy was bursting, and the golden mist filled the air. The whole sect knelt down in silence in anticipation of the thunder. His beautiful eyes were bulging and he roared, the immortal Lord finally ascended to shock the world. The door to the soul transformation is fully opened. Tianyin Yongzuan, or is it in the void? The whole world is overturned by the sudden change. Mu Shua Bai Ning hugged her face and screamed, Master's benefactor ascends. We will watch forever. Lin Fan's intelligence jade slips buzzed and stared, Ascension Hook, is the Master invincible? The head of Zhang Wang Li Zhao kowtows with a twisted face, the contrast between the past and the sky is broken. The whole place is filled with deathly silence and the success or failure of the ascension. The rift in the void exploded with a click, like thousands of pythons tearing the sky. The gate of transformation was filled with strange light and strange purple-black mist. Gulu was churning. The sound of decaying demons was low and humming, drilling into the soul and burning the meridians. Jiangqing University's Tianyin sect's golden shield swallowed the sky for thousands of miles and trembled violently. The red and blue spiritual pillars were twisted and intermittent. The surge of spiritual energy reversed into a blood-red vortex mixed with sulfur and burned the air. The stench of rotting corpses filled the nostrils. All the golden elixirs in the whole sect were at the peak of their spiritual brilliance in the late stage, but they all turned pale and knelt down on their knees. The blood from their noses sprayed through their meridians like fire, and their souls flew away. Their beautiful eyes reflected the purple and black mist, and they screamed in despair, ascension and mutation. The demonic mist of the immortal master's divine transformation gate is swallowing up, and the meridians of our Jindan late-stage army are shattered and the sky is hidden. Zhang Tianba's iron tower body shook like a fallen leaf, his face twisted with blood and tears, and his throat clucked. The Zhang family's mineral veins are all in contrast. Surrender, now the magic fog hook soul resource spirit stone is in ruins, the immortal master failed to ascend, and the whole sect was reduced to ashes. Wang Wushuang's giant axe, Ding Dong, fell to the ground again, dripping with sweat and blood. Tears burst into tears, the Wang family's axe soul has reached the peak of loyalty and is unable to do so. The Black Devil's pressure is so high that the soul of an ant is shattered. The main body of the Li Zhao family was bleeding, their pupils shrunk, their faces were ashen, and they hugged each other and roared. The head of the family is kneeling down in the immortal realm, and the millions of tons of spiritual stones burned by the strange light and magic mist are all gone. Mu Shue's windbreaker hunting jade sword shattered and buzzed, her pretty face turned white and flushed, old wounds intertwined with her shoulders, and the blood mist exploded. Her jade hands trembled to protect Bai Ning, and she whispered, "Senior sister, the business war network intelligence is cut off." In the void magic mist, the remnant soul of the Golden Eyes surges back and the Alliance leader's blood river is reborn, and the meridians of our pure-in spirit body are burned and the soul binding is broken. Bai Ning's long skirt bulged and the pure-in blue light reversed. The weak snow legs were covered with bloodstains and goosebumps, and the delicate body hugged the knees and trembled. The ice arrows clicked and fell to the ground in pieces. She screamed and screamed, the protection of the immortal realm has failed. The purple-black magic mist swallowed the gate of the god of transformation. In the late stage of the golden elixir, the ice formation shattered like ice slag and the Tianyin slaughtered the sect in vain. Lin Fan's suit was stained with blood and ghosts ran forward. The intelligence jade slips popped, and the sound transmission was intermittent. The strong man had a bloody nose, his legs were paralyzed, and roared with taunts and despair. The intelligence hall collapsed. The magic fog revealed the hook of the remnant soul of the leader's body, and Tang Tian's grey robe ascended to disguise himself. The 1,000-year-old secret Tianyuan Dan's secret realm belongs to the devil, and we vow to be soul-bound and die to destroy them all. All the disciples of the sect, the golden lines on the skin of the boys burned red and bulged, Pop burst in pain and howled with blood and flesh, and the girls were filled with fragrant sweat and blood mist. The snowy muscles were lumpy and screaming, and the soul was trembling. The magic mist swallows the golden shield. The white ice formation of Mu Shui's jade sword is shattered, Lin Fan's intelligence is powerless, and the sect's soul is flying away. Outside the mountain range, the remnants of the hidden world's 10,000 founding foundation nascent souls knelt in the air, holding their heads and turning pale, laughing wildly. Tianyin ascends to demonic transformation. The leader's remnant soul takes advantage of the chaos to take revenge, and our blood river burning sky nascent soul core slaughters all the sect's mineral veins for rebirth. The golden-eyed entity of the alliance leader's body suddenly exploded in the purple-black magic mist. The decaying spiritual pressure was like a river of stars overturning thousands of miles. The projection of the 1,000-year-old hidden blood book flickered and filled the air with a stench. The demonic voice roared, Tang Tian. The demon source of the gate of transformation has been stolen. The secret realm of Tianyuan Dan has been laid out for thousands of years to devour souls. Today, the magic mist assists the blood river to live forever. The 3 remaining veins of the 3 sects took revenge, and the spiritual stone mineral veins all returned to the demonic realm. The river of blood roared against the golden shield, the heat wave carried the corpses, and the sulfur burned the meridians withered. The spiritual roots of the sects, the trees, rustled, and the leaves fell. Blood rained down. The disciples' meridians hummed, and the rudiments of the golden elixir shattered, howling in pain, and the blood mist sprayed out and filled the air with a fishy stench. The black tide of despair overwhelmed the whole place, and their souls collapsed. Mu Shuibai hugged her pretty face and held her white jade hands together, her knuckles turned white and she screamed, Master, my benefactor. The 1,000-year plan of the golden eyes of the magic fog has been exposed, and the blood river counterattack business war intelligence has destroyed the pure Yin and broken souls. Lin Fan's eyes widened, his pupils bulged, his throat trembled and blood shot out, the ultimate hook of intelligence. The demon lord's body avenged the end of the Tianyin civil strife. The blood palms of the hidden remnants of the world all came out with a pop, a heat wave burned into the air, and they threw themselves at the edge of the golden shield. They roared with twisted laughter, the demon lord's blood river is immortal, and our Yuaning Foundation 2 sects resources are gone. Tang Tian sat cross-legged in a grey robe with his hands behind his hands and cloth shoes, his fairy eyes widened and the golden light shot out like the sun. The golden light of the 1,000 years of seclusion, the oath of heaven, gathered into the sky and bounded his soul like a billion swords devouring demons. The 1,000,000 tons of storage ring spirit stones, ding-dong, collided with the Tianyuan pill. 10 golden mists shrouded the sulfur spiritual incense and surged to suppress the devil's stench. The black hole in the fairyland, exploded and swallowed up the purple-black magic mist. The heat wave tore through the sky and, hissed, the blood-devouring river decayed. The golden light of the oath locked onto the golden-eyed entity, and the demonic sound was cut off. The alliance leader's withered face bulged, his pupils shrank, his throat roared, and his soul collapsed. Impossible. The demonic mist's eternal layout, Tianyuan Dan grey robe steals backlash. The resources of the 3 sects of the 1,000-year magic source are useless, and the golden eyes and soul-devouring souls are forever broken. The whole sect's eyes widened in ecstasy. Thunderous nosebleeds stopped, and the beautiful eyes bulged and screamed, and their souls returned. The immortal lord vowed to gather in the black hole of the fairyland. Demonic mist, the evaporated golden eyes shattered, and the river of blood dried up. The sky is invincible and will remain invincible forever. Tang Tianbu shoes thought in his heart and turned his immortal fingers to connect with the Tianyuan Dan power to activate the red and blue pillars of the spiritual formation. Boom, the dragon roared and the golden shield swallowed the sky thousands of miles away and exploded with a surge of spiritual energy. The fragrant wind from another world evaporates and suppresses the demonic odor, the demonic mist dissipates with a pop, the purple-black mist breaks up and, clicks, resounds throughout the night, and the remnants of the black clouds, bang, disintegrates and the bones shatter, a crunch, golden light pours down and the sulfuric incense hits the nostrils and burns the sky. White condensed purine and blue light gathered in the long skirt, bulging snow muscles, and the spiritual light flowed to the edge of the peak of the golden elixir. Her delicate body trembled, and her meridians boomed. The remaining force of the Tianyuan elixir hit the ice formation and the tornado surged. I promise to protect you and swallow the magic power. The purine spiritual body, the golden elixir, slays the demon river like dust, and the master's divine power will be with me forever. The emotions will burn with my heart. The Mu family's commercial war network blocked the whole world's demonic elixir mines, and Tianyin ascended to the throne. The beautiful eyes of the two women reflected Tang Tian's celestial figure, and their faces were as red as the fragrance of fire. The strong men from the old army wiped away the nosebleeds and roared and kowtowed, the master is invincible when swallowing demons. The intelligence hall's magic source expansion hook fully exposes the formation's golden shield and swallows the sky. The remaining demon cultivators kneel down and swear a blood oath. The strong men's eyes widened, their throats trembled, and they kowtowed with blood and tears, Deacon Lin's magic. The Tianyin formation is invincible, and the sect's deacons will always control the entire world of intelligence. The remnants of the hidden world outside the mountains took advantage of the chaos to counterattack, and thousands of people were building a foundation. The locusts buzzed and pounced on the devil's blood palm. Papa exploded with a heat wave, burning the sky and rushing into the golden shield. The leading nascent soul demon cultivator, the black-robed old ghost Ku, pointed at the empty blood river. Gulu surged again and smiled ferociously, the grey-robed swallowing demon is weak. The devil's golden eyes are immortal, and our blood river burning nascent soul army Tu Zong's mineral veins completely seized the demon realm. The heat wave of the blood river and the stench of rotting corpses hit the spiritual formation. Tang Tian's eyes glanced at the grey robe and hunting cloth shoes. The black hole in the immortal realm buzzed and exploded. Billions of swords came out. Hiss. The withered face of the nascent soul ghost was twisted and the blood mist exploded. His head was shattered and his dantian was shattered. Pa, and he fell to the ground with tears and nose bleeding. The roaring soul flew, the devil's layout, the immortal lord swallowed the magic power and turned into a god. Our nascent soul's foundation was shattered like dust and our souls flew into ashes. The remnant party held thousands of people and knelt in the air, crushing it like glass. A rain of flesh and blood poured down, and the smelly blood rain was filled with the scent of the spirit. The withered face of Zhang Tianbong Wushuang Li Zhao's family master kowtowed in ecstasy, thunderous sweat and blood dried up, the immortal master instantly killed the demon cultivator and counterattacked. Contrary to the past, the demon cultivator's power shook the world and the source of demons was wiped out. The immortal master of the immortal realm gathered outside the mountains with eyes wide open and their faces were ashen and they surrendered to the blood oath. The immortal master of Tianyin swallows the demon and destroys the enemy. The sound of Tang Tian's grey-robed hunter hunting immortals spread like thunder throughout the cities of the immortal world. The source of the demonic mist is exhausted, the golden eyes of the leader of the millennium layout are forever shattered, the door of the devouring breakthrough to the great achievement of the god is fully opened, and the counterattack is like dust. The door of the god of transformation clicks, and the golden light pours like the sea. The spiritual energy surges and the fragrance of the other world steams to suppress the blood. The red and blue pillars of the spiritual formation reach the eternal dragon's chant golden shield, swallowing the sky thousands of miles away, and the spiritual roots of the trees in the river city awakened to green gold. The fallen leaves rustled, the fragrant wind hit the nostrils, the meridians of the sect swallowed the blood elixir, boomed, and expanded, the peak of the golden elixir soared into the sky, the mountain of Tang Tian storage ring spiritual stones, dinged, collided with the Tianyuan elixir, the golden mist shrouded the nose, the sulfur fragrance hit the nose, 20 blood elixirs flashed. The immortal realm protected the sect's immortal grey robes with hands behind their hands, cloth shoes, and stood up. The disciples worshipped with beautiful eyes and knelt down in ecstasy with thunderous blood and tears. The immortal Lord swallows demons and breaks through to become a god. The Tianyin Super Sect's golden elixir peak legion is invincible, and the urban immortal cultivators will surrender and dominate forever. Mu Shui Bai Ning stood side by side, her pretty face flushed and the spiritual radiance flowing, her jade hands clasped together and pressed against the edge of her grey robe with fragrant shoulders. Xiangyi, Master's benefactor has become a god. Shang Zhan's pure intelligence is fully dedicated to the protector, and his emotions are forever entwined like spiritual fire. The achievements are overflowing and will always follow. Lin Fan kowtowed to his old subordinates and roared with trembling throats, Intelligence Deacon expands the world's command formation and the magic source is exposed. The Master's invincible appearance kills Yongba instantly. The aftermath of the calamity is calm and diffuse. The spiritual energy surges with a faint spiritual fragrance. The blood and sulfur are dispersed. The spiritual roots of Jiangqing University campus are awakened. The green light is lingering in the night wind. The rustling, gold leaves are floating. The whole sect stands up and wipes the blood on their faces. The golden glow is completed and the meridians are at their peak. They are whispering and worshipping Lei. Moved, the aftermath of the Immortal's ascension has been completed, and the resources have been integrated into 1,000,000 tons of Tianyuan Dan, golden mist blood spirit pill, and our peak golden pill is the only one in the world. Zhang Tianba stood firm on the iron tower, with a withered face, ecstatically wiped the blood, kowtowed and clasped his fists. Zhang Jia's mineral veins have been fully absorbed to assist in the battle. The contrast between the soul and the flying spirit is today at the peak of his status, the hidden blade is forever. Wang Wushuang's giant axe regained its strength and wiped away the old tears. He roared loudly, the soul of the Wang family's axe is loyal to the power of the gods. The aftermath of the nascent soul is touched. The mainstream of the Li Zhao family stopped the bleeding, and the golden face became flushed and clasped their fists in ecstasy. The head of the family has exhausted all his resources. The remnants of the hidden world stood up and kowtowed, their faces turned ashen and they swore in ecstasy, pledged to be loyal to the demon war and protect us. We will share the foundation of the Yuanying resource, Tianyuan Dan, and dominate the world. Mushue's jade sword was sheathed, her trench coat was lightly raised, her pretty face turned crimson, she lowered her head and whispered to Bai Ning, leaning on each other's shoulders, "Senior sister, my benefactor." The grey-robed immortal figure transformed into a god and ascended to a stable state. Our first disciple, Pure In, worked together to protect the Dharma and expand the business network to expand the city's immortal cultivation circle. Emotions are like a spiritual blend, and we have become famous. By Ningxue the legs are flexible, the blue light is restrained, the flushed body is leaning against Mushue's jade hands, and the beautiful eyes are filled with water and admiration. Junior sister, the ice array protector swallows the magic golden elixir, the peak of emotion, sublimation, status, treasures, master becomes a god, and we will always follow you to guard the campus holy place. The two women held each other's jade hands, and the aura blended with the fragrance of the snowy skin. As they got closer, the disciples and girls screamed in admiration and their beautiful eyes bulged. Senior sister Mu Shui Bai Ning's emotional achievements are alongside Fairy Tianyin. The sect will always be famous and dominate the world. Lin Fan, a strong man in the old department of the Ghost Patrol Intelligence Network, with his neatly dressed suit, roared with his eyes wide open and his throat trembling. Deacon Lin has taken charge of the whole world, and the aftermath information has not been leaked. Tianyin dominates the resources and absorbs the magic source forever. The atmosphere of the whole place was soothing and a sense of accomplishment filled the air. Everyone whispered, and the reputation spread throughout the urban immortal circle and even the entire hidden world. The great achievement of Tianyin Immortal Master in overcoming tribulations and swallowing demons and transforming into gods shocked the world. The layout of the leader's golden eyes will forever shatter our status and treasures, and the pattern will be forever solid. Tang Tian stood in grey robe with his hands behind his hands, and his cloth shoes were in the air. His fairy eyes scanned the whole sect's golden brilliance, and Yongzhao transformed into the gods. Boom! The remaining power of the Tianyuan Dan and blood spirit pill hit the edge of the immortal world. Old wounds healed. Spiritual energy exploded. The golden mist filled the air. The whole sect knelt down silently and looked forward to the thunder. Beautiful eyes bulged and roared in worship. The final pattern of the immortal master's transformation into a god. The Tianyin Yongzuan super sect dominates the urban immortal cultivation, or the immortal world summons the whole world to follow. Mu Xuebai hugged the group with her pretty face flushed and screamed, holding hands, Master and Benefactor Yongbao. We will forever watch for the immortality. Lin Fanqing the jade slip buzzed and stared in ecstasy. Intelligence is fully controlled, the master is invincible forever. The withered face of the Zhang Wangli Zhao clan turned to ecstasy, and he kowtowed. The contrast between the past and the transformation of the gods now, the divine posture is shattered in the void fairyland. The golden glow of deathly silence overwhelms the whole place, and a new journey looms after the completion of the transformation of the gods. The void trembles slightly, the call from another world murmurs, the campus spiritual formation is forever solidified, the river city awakens, the city's holy land for cultivating immortals is just established. Tang Tianxian smiles indifferently, his grey robe hunting cloth shoes step into the air, the sky is hidden, the door to the immortal world is waiting to open. The fragrance of the spirit lingers in the night wind, and the whole world surrenders to a new era. Suddenly, the heavenly way suddenly changed, the sky buzzed and trembled, purple thunder ripped through the night sky like a dragon. Bang, the spiritual energy surged and the fragrant wind from the other world hit his nostrils, the whole sect's meridians buzzed and the soul trembled. Tang Tianxian closed his eyes slightly and thought, is the chance of ascension coming? The Tianyuan pill in the secret realm of the hidden world is swallowed up, the door to the transformation of gods is opened, and the pattern of the world of immortality is reshaped.